welcome to another week of
What up?
Manversations. What up, Major?
What up? Yeah,
What's
what's
going on?
cracking, man? How's everything?
Everything is gravy.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
excited today because last week we had the show about women. What type of women are they? And we wanted to know what type of woman you were based on the different variations of women we had. So this
Right.
week we wanted to make sure that we had the flip. So we wanted to get on the men this week, right?
No
And
doubt.
it's so crazy because last week when we talked about the things about women, we were just discussing in general things about women and basic accountability, basic things. It's like women still be on the defensiveness of it. And in order for us to
Right.
move forward, we have to collectively be on the same page. Because what happens is when you look at history, our ancestors were very powerful because they had a dynamic force, which was a unified front of the household structure. They were unified. They were married. They had a infrastructure at their home. It was a solidified fort, and nobody could come in and destroy that, especially during
Right.
the time of Jim Crow. Now you had back in the days where they had a harder time. Back then they had a harder time dealing with things in society because of general population. The dominant society did not want our people inside their society, whether it was basically buying things, purchasing downtown. You know, they
Mhm.
wanted to restrict us from traveling and doing anything that we wanted to do. We also had to create a green book. So that way we had to travel from one state to another state, and we did it in a way that was safe, not only for ourselves, but also for our children. And
Yeah.
these are things that, you have to take in consideration because even though we don't have the quote unquote Jim Crow laws that's in effect heavy like it was back then. It was very blatant racist. We still have those laws, but they're not as big as it was back then. So, and when I mean big, like I'm talking about enforced like that, you can go into different areas and you're okay. They still have
Right.
certain sundown towns, but it's not as bad as it was that our ancestors dealt with.
Nowhere
So
near. Nowhere near.
yeah, so knowing that, you want to get together on a unified page where we're out here matching up with the correct person that we are supposed to match up with. um, we noticed that over the years the household been diminishing, and we're just getting and procreating with just any and anybody, and we're not building that solidified front that we had before. So last week we were just trying to get the basic synopsis of the type of women that are out here in the dating pool, that are out here that's available, and what are they doing. Even if they're married, are you following certain individuals based on what they say or based on what they do? Because what
Right.
happens is, even though we don't supposed to worship celebrities, the general consensus of it is that you still worship them subconsciously. A lot of things that they do, a lot of women follow it. I've
Yeah.
seen women follow every celebrity you think about. They look at Anita Baker all the way down to Beyonce. There's people that follow these women, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're taking all the good things that they do and you apply it to your life, you're not going to be identical to them. You're in a different tax bracket. You might be in a different situation. Their spouse is different from your spouse, but you could take it's a general blueprint that can also work for you in the general consensus of it being in a structured way where you guys can succeed and become that power couple. You don't have to be a millionaire or a billionaire to be a power couple in order to do that. You can do that with the resources that you share between you and your current spouse or your person that you're working with in a relationship. So
Absolutely.
it's very imperative that we understand that concept, and we're just here. And like I tell people all the time, this platform is way different than any other platform that you guys will ever encounter, because what makes us so different is the fact that we're out here holding accountability on both sides. We're not
Mm-hmm.
sitting here coddling men, and we're not sitting here coddling women. We're sitting here making sure that the men take accountability and the women take accountability. There's no biasness here, you know. So I don't want nobody to think that there's any biasness. And you guys are going to see tonight that we're going to go as hard against men. I want to say against men because I don't want to see like we're going to bash men tonight. It's not about bashing men, but we are going to point out a lot of the accountabilities that men need to be held to, like we pointed out last week with the women. So,
Right.
how was your week so far, man? Everything was good.
I mean, everything was lovely, man. I can't complain. It's so much going on the thread
Mm-hmm.
on social media. It's just this constant, you know, um, this constant drumbeat. With these gender wars. If it's not the gender wars, it's people doing things that are out of school. Just people just kind of all over the place. Like I was telling you, I was talking to my wife not too long ago, and I was
Yeah,
saying, how social media and reality TV are the two
yeah,
worst things to happen to Black people in terms of media in the last 30 years. I mean, it's just a goddamn plantation celebration all the time, unfortunately,
yeah.
and you know the things. There are plenty of brothers and sisters doing some real quality things, doing some real important things, putting out the proper energy to guide the people and so forth. But unfortunately, what gets the most attention is the ratchetness, is the bullshit,
Mm,
is the cooning. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like
yeah.
at a fevered pitch right now. So I know we're definitely going to get into some of that tonight, and I definitely look forward to it. um I do want to address something that was said last week. Me and you had
Okay.
a talk, whatever the case may be. And it was all, I'm just going to bring it up because it was also brought up in the stream. You know what I mean? Something, apparently there's someone or some people who take issue with my use of the term broad. I will say this, and I'm this person. I'm not entirely dismissive as some people think I am,
Mm,
but I will say this: I will meet you halfway because
mm,
like I said, a lot of times women do this type of thing because they want to try to control brothers and control how we talk and what we say. That's not going to
mm,
happen. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I will entertain that comment with this response. Because when you're listening to a show where men are talking and we're talking about high-minded things and we're talking about, you know, speaking to a mentality of taking us to a higher level, and we nitpick about silly things. Okay, that's how I see it, right? But to not be dismissive and to try to see the other person's point of view, I'll meet you halfway. If you, whoever said that, if you will start to exude the same amount of outrage when you start hearing women refer to each other as bad bitches or as boss bitches or any other kind of bitch that a lot of women like to call each other, there's no outrage when that happens. There's no
Yeah.
outrage when you hear women refer to each other as bad bitches or as boss bitches or any other kind of bitch. There's no outrage when that happens.
That's
There's
that's
no
on you, Major. Okay.
oh, I like that. That same discontent when you hear those things being said, then I'll think about updating my vernacular and eliminating certain words from what I say. That's how I feel as far as that is concerned. Because I
Oh,
never hear any type of pushback or anything of the like. I don't see anybody writing any letters to Viacom talking about some of the despicable behavior that females exhibit on these reality TV shows where they not only call each other bitches and hoes all the time, but they're beating each other's ass on television for everybody to
Yeah,
see. Nobody has anything to say about that. Okay, when and if you start clutching your pearls when that happens, then I'll think
yeah.
about adjusting the way that I speak when I'm talking about women broadly speaking. But also, I was intentionally saying that. I was talking about a woman who was exuding broad behavior. So I was broadening her, so to speak. I just want to make that clear. That's not how I normally refer to women broadly speaking, pun intended. Go ahead, brother. What you got?
No, no. I was just saying that. I'm just saying as far as
We froze up
I
for a
get what
minute
you're
there, so I
saying.
don't know how much of that went through.
No, I can hear you. Am I
Can you hear
still
me?
frozen? Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your picture's
Am
frozen,
I
but
still?
I can. Yeah, your picture's
Am I
frozen, but I
frozen?
can hear you. Your picture is frozen. Yeah, but I can hear you.
Am I so? Now, can you see me now?
It's coming in.
No.
It's coming in. Looks like it's loading.
Yeah.
You know what
Show
you
me when I.
might, I'll tell you when the picture comes in, but what might help, brother, when you
Yeah.
do a test next time and try to your cord that you have that's um plugged into your modem, your Ethernet cord. If you can try plugging that Ethernet cord directly into your PC, that might help.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I can hear you. I have to get a technician to do that.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. But am I frozen or am I? Or you can hear me?
Your screen is black, but I can hear you. So there. Okay, I see you now. You're moving, and I can hear you.
Oh,
What you got?
okay.
Go ahead.
Cool.
While we still got
All
it.
right. I hate the technical difficulties. Like I say, in my area, they said that I'm in a kind of a dead zone. It's kind of crazy. It seems like it's only in the black areas that I'm noticing this stuff because they're telling me on the east side of 95 towards the beaches, oh, there's zones over there are pretty good. So it's real frustrating. But
Gotcha.
we're gonna do the best that we can tonight for it. But in the
Go ahead,
meantime,
brother.
I did want to say yes. I understood what you were saying. I understood
Hmm.
everything about what it was and what a lot of people don't know who you are, but I know who you are and I understand what you were saying and where you're getting at. Like I say, at
Right.
the end of the day, people have to understand that it's about interpretation and also about listening. Are you there to listen, to learn, or you just there to hear and react? And a lot of times
Right.
people will do that. They're here just to react. And when
Hmm.
you do that, you lose out on great content, you lose out on great things because of that. So I understood what it was. You took the time to address it. And like I said, we go back to the first episode where we say that and we tell people what this platform is about. And
Hmm.
it is constructed this way because we're here to give you the truth and exactly explain everything. And a lot of times, some of that truth might hurt and it might be sensitive and it might be triggersome. So we just want you to understand what is going on with what the content we have and just take in the information and then you can run with it from that point on.
No doubt.
So now that we got that out the way, I did want to talk about how our image, right? Our image as black men, we have to understand that our image as black men is very powerful. And people around the world are seeing our powers. People are seeing who we are as black men overall, whether you go to China, Europe, Africa, the Caribbean islands, wherever you go, even in the US, people understand that black men are superior and they take um, a lot of what we do and they highlight it in things that they do, whether it's in movies, whether it's in cartoons, just a lot of the knowledge, they hide it or they put it in clear sight. But because we as people don't understand it and our children don't understand it because they're not vast in the information like that, they will overlook something and don't even know that it's a representation of a strong black man or the conscious level of a black man. So I want to
Right.
show you guys something that a lot of people don't see. I'm a nerd. I know a lot of nerds out here. We like anime, we like video games. That was one time at one point that was me heavy. As I got older, my direction changed a bit because we're living in the real world. You got to be out here to level up. We got bills. Back then I didn't have bills, so I could just take the money that I graciously earned and go spend it on comic books or movies or whatever, with no
Right.
consequences behind it if I went broke. I can't do that now. So you know so now I'm going to show you this image that a lot of people didn't even realize, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is the image. So on
Mm.
the left, you have Piccolo, which you guys know from a very famous cartoon. A lot of your children probably watched it, called Dragon Ball Z. You probably watched it yourself as an adult because that was around the same time as us being in the, I want to say, in the age of children to teenagers. So we pretty much knew about Dragon Ball Z heavy
Mm.
because that was a very, very popular TV show. So
Mm.
Piccolo is wearing an attire that comes off as just a regular attire because we didn't know. But here it is. You have Malcolm X, who went to Africa, as you know, the whole history of Malcolm X meeting up with a famous leader over there in Africa who taught him basic, you know, the basic ideology of our identity, which is the Moors. That's why you see more empowerment behind me. We started off as the Moors, and then it transitioned to Negro, and
Mm.
then we eventually went down to African American and blacks. So that whole transition of intellect and information a lot of times got lost in the transition, and now I'm just here to try to educate a lot of people to show you guys how that a lot of times our African uh, royalty, I would say, because that garb that he's wearing is a royal garb, right? So
Yes.
that's a royal garb in the land of Africa. That's a wise man, a wise teacher would have that. If you know Piccolo, you already know Piccolo in the show was a very strategic character, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was very dope because we have information in plain sight, and a lot of times we don't identify, pick up on it because we don't teach our children the real history behind certain things. So you guys seeing this, hopefully that you could take this and apply it to your children and show them, that hey, we have representation, we're powerful, and this came from that. And then when you understand what you're looking at, you can also go and dig deeper and find more things or find the enriched history behind the garment and why is it worn and what is it used for. So I thought that
Right.
was very dope for us to
Nice.
basically show the folks because a lot of times, like I said, it's in plain sight and we just don't know. So you guys
Mm-hmm.
could research on that. You guys could look that up, and then you guys could, have that talk within your family. So this is just very valuable information, especially from a father to a son. This would be super dope because your children are very into cartoons and just anime. So just to give
No
you
doubt.
guys a little heads up of what's going on.
And
So
it's not only
tonight's
anime, by
show,
the way.
yes,
Yeah, it's
go
other
ahead.
cartoon, a lot of cartoon characters, their imagery and their garb and so forth, and even their powers are derived from ancient African, mysticism or ancient African, what's the word I'm looking for? Just ancient African philosophy, some of the gods and the deities in ancient Africa. And that is significant because, at the end of the day, people never like to give us credit for anything. And,
Yeah,
when you really research it and you scratch the surface, man, most of the stuff that you see out here in cartoons, in television, in music, they always get it from some black person if
yeah,
you search enough. You know what I mean? So I definitely see the significance and value in that, brother. Absolutely. Go ahead, you were saying.
definitely. So yeah, so tonight's episode is about which guy are you? What man are you? We want to know what type of man are you? So we're going to give you a couple of visuals, and you guys have seen the flyers. So this is the first one that I had put up. And I took these four gentlemen because these guys are pretty much hot in the news right now, or always stay relevant in the media. So you have Russell Wilson, that's up top left. Then you have Michael B. Jordan, top right. Then the lower left, you have Future, and the lower right, you have Blueface. So my thing why I picked those is because Russell Wilson, he exudes the guy that a lot of women want. They want the guy who goes above and beyond, breaks his back for his girl, supplies her with anything, takes on the children as his own child or children, and is always there to, whatever his woman wants, he's gonna do it to please her. Michael B. Jordan, so that's the type of guy you are, Russell. That's who you relate to. Michael B. Jordan, now I selected because he's the type of guy that grew up as a nerd. We talked about nerds. We talked about guys who been overlooked and really wasn't the guy that a lot of women picked back in school. This was a guy that used to get clowned and picked on, and nobody would think that he would succeed or anything. He's just a little goofball guy, dresses weird, and now he become one of the most leading actors and powerful actors that we have out here in today's society. Especially, we just talked about anime and heroes, superheroes. He's also pretty much an ideal actor for those type of roles. We've seen him in Black Panther, did a phenomenal job in that.
Mhm.
He has a movie called Creed coming out. Legendary box on that. So we see that superhuman power out of him and imagery. So now he went from nerd to being this guy that's on top of the world per se, and also in that midst of that joy and that ride and that journey, he also was going through school with people that don't really look like him. So he had a diverse kind of a journey to go through, with all different races of women. So when he got older, going into those collegiate schools that the percentage of black women probably was low, he ended up, finding himself around white women. And during that process, he's been dating them. And then now he had recently been dating Lori Harvey, and that didn't go too good, and they just parted ways. So Michael B. Jordan is pretty much the guy who's the nerd who ends up not getting the women in school, but ends up later on in life getting the women that he pretty much wanted. But even though he still doesn't have everything to get that woman because his identity is he's a nerd, he's a square. And a lot of times you already know that women gravitate to guys who are more thuggish, more masculine, who has that edge to them. And Michael B. Jordan doesn't bring that edge to them. So going to edge, I can go to the next guy, which is Future. So the guys that relate to Future, that's the bad boy, the dude who has the finesse, the swag, the charisma. This is the guy who will basically smooth talk you out of your undies, right? This is the guy that can do that. He's the guy who a lot of women want to know who he is because he has that mystique, that edge, that kind of that curiosity of, damn, I want to know how does it feel to sleep with a dude like that. That's the kind of curiosity that he brings around women, and you can see that through his actions when you have. I think he's up to. I don't want to misquote how many children he had, but I think it's more than 8, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken. It might be 8 or
I think
more,
it's
but
a
it's 8, right?
yeah.
Okay. So you already know he's a romancer. He's a guy that will do what he needs to do to get you to that level. And it doesn't take much because, like I say, his persona, his suaveness, that's what comes with him. And he also did a one-on-one interview that was pretty good because he was very vulnerable in that interview with Kevin Samuels. So if you want, you guys could check that interview out between him and Kevin Samuels because he does. It's funny that people call Russell Wilson a simp, but Future in that interview kind of addressed his simpish behavior as well. He was spending a mass amount of millions on women.
Yeah, I
So
see some something in there. I saw it.
yeah,
I saw it.
yeah, yeah.
For
So
love.
a lot of guys that's out there, hey, you want to fight for Future on his side, you got to take that as well because he did admit to it. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
On the last guy is Blueface. I put Blueface up because Blueface is a guy who is very I want to say the kind of guy that everybody gravitates to because he's that friend that's understanding. He has that element of being that cool guy to be around. But inside the private life, he's very toxic. He's a guy who gravitates towards what we call trauma bonding, which is a toxic relationship where he gets beat on by women and he beats on women. So that kind of bond is the type of bond that he communicates with his people. That's what we see through the limelight and their whole portrayal through the camera and lens that they open up the world to see. It's very toxic. I feel sorry for the woman that he's with, but she also is in a world of trauma bonding as well. I wish both of them could part ways from each other because both of them are drawing each other down heavily, and it doesn't look good on either one of them. So
It's
you do have some men out here that are trauma bonding with people and are in relationships that they trauma bond with, and I think it's very bad because even though people will say, well, two unhealed people need to be together. Yes, two unhealed people, yeah, need to be together for because I don't want one unhealed person being with a healed person because they'll damage them and bring them back down to their level of toxicity. But what I do wish is that two unhealed people will get together and heal with together, you know, congruently, they would heal together at the same time. But we
mm,
don't see that happening here. So the people that as men that identify as blueface, you can have the accountability and say, you know what, I do identify in that area because I do have a trauma bonding type of persona to me where I gravitate towards toxic women and toxic situations, and I instead of growing out of it, I embed and I feel comfortable in that area. So
mm.
those are the four guys that I put up because it kind of covers basic generals of all areas. Now, the next group of guys, did you want to comment on these guys or
No,
you
I
good?
mean, you pretty much hit it on the head for all of those guys, but I just want to put it out there and
Yeah.
add, just an extra layer of caution for
Hmm.
the blue face type of dude, man. That's real dangerous, especially in
Yeah.
today's social environment. As a black man, you're running around here. Never mind you have a toxic woman that hits you. That's bad
Hmm.
too. But you're running around here with a reputation as a man who beats and harms women. There's
Yeah.
no way that that ends well in this social environment, in
Apple.
this social climate. Brothers have to be extraordinarily careful about avoiding this type of relationship, about being this type of man, and gravitating to this type of low energy woman. You know, it
Correct.
it ain't cake, it ain't candy out here for us like that. You know what I'm saying? Women, they'll give a
Correct.
woman a pass before they give us one. But if he
Correct.
continues like that, it's going to be his time in the industry, in entertainment as a star, whatever the case, is going to be very short lived because they're going to lock his ass up. Real talk. You know what I
Definitely.
mean?
Definitely.
This never ends well. Brothers
Never.
really got to be cautious about that. But go ahead, you can bring it to the next one.
No, so yeah, like Major was saying, you don't want to be in that predicament. And as a man, you have to take control of your situation. Get yourself healed. Get the extra help you need to get you to that level. Get out of that situation. You don't want to keep digging a hole for yourself. It's all about growth. Every day that goes on, you're supposed to be better than the previous day. So
Yeah.
if tomorrow comes, you're supposed to be better than you are today. And that's how
Mm,
you get to be the ultimate level of where you need to get to as a person. So when you're stuck in this toxicity level it only goes and spirals downhill. And that direction that he's going in can either leave himself killed or leave her killed. And
Right.
that's never anything positive for anybody, because both of them have loving family members that love on them graciously and love them to death and don't want to see them leave this earth um, faster than they should. So, with that being said, we'll definitely go over to um, Major's list of four guys that he brought up, and that's his list right here.
Right. No
So
doubt.
you want to break down the four guys you chose and break down their personalities, because some of them people probably might not even know who they are.
Right. Yeah, I definitely want to go through these four guys because I brought them in because from the first list that Ant had, I didn't really see any of those guys that I could relate to. You know what I mean? Or that I felt
Yeah.
like the question, what type of man are you? I didn't really think like I was any of those guys. This
Yeah.
one, I thought, and I thought the other guys might feel the same way. This list is why I brought that in because of that. So the
Hmm.
first guy is Morris Chestnut. Morris Chestnut is a little older than
Hmm.
Michael B. Jordan. I don't think he was ever a nerd, but he has that square, straight and narrow, stand up guy. I'm here. I do what I'm supposed to do. I handle my business. I dot all my I's. I cross all my T's type of energy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's been with his wife for a very long time. He's not one of these quote unquote Hollywood people. He goes out here, he does his movie, he comes home and does what he has to do in real life. You know what I mean? That
Sure.
is a rare type of dude to find out here, especially in Hollywood. A lot of these guys get out here, they lose their damn mind.
Yeah.
They start doing all type of, funny style, moist, sideways stuff because they're in Hollywood, and they feel like they need to do that,
Right.
because whoever's in charge, has told them, that you got to behave in these real bizarre ways and you got to do all these, you know, type of funny style things where you got to do something strange for a piece of change, so to speak. Morris Chestnut has never exuded any of that, and he appears to be a very stand up guy. Been successful in marriage for a very long time. He, knocks out all his roles, does very well for himself, very accomplished, very established, very solid brother, straight and narrow.
Mm.
Tariq Nasheed is a little different. Tariq Nasheed used to be a street dude back in the day, and he made the transition from being a street dude into being a uh, a movie producer, best-selling author. Now he's a museum owner. I mean, this guy pretty much does everything, and he's 100% independent. Again, he's married with a big family. He has 5 children. Um, the guy is, and he's a multimillionaire, and he's done all of this 100% independent. And,
Mm.
that's the entrepreneur guy, that is using his people and the conscious community as his springboard, I guess you could say, or as his built-in audience. A lot of times he'll have, a fundraiser, like for when he opened his museum that he just opened. We had a
Mhm.
fundraiser, everybody put in, I think he was collecting $1 million in a month. He got the $1 million, boom, he got the property. A few months later, Shazam, he's got a whole museum, a whole Black History museum out in LA, and
Mhm.
he does things like this all the time. He's always making movies about Black history, little known facts, the Hidden Color series, Buck Breaking, 1804, all that stuff. Very accomplished brother, you know. But he's a little different in that, he's not part of the Hollywood machine. He works as an entrepreneur, and he's extraordinarily successful, family man, loves his family to life. Very, very good example, upstanding brother as well. Shout out to him. Corey Holcomb, I threw in the mix because Corey Holcomb, I'm a very big Corey Holcomb fan as well. Corey Holcomb is very different from either one of those guys. If you hear Corey Holcomb talk about relationships, it's hilarious because he talks about how, he targets women that are poor because, he needs to be able to provide them something in order for them to deal with him. You know what I mean? Like, he is a self-proclaimed trick. He calls himself a trick. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he's still got a lot of these very stern values that we admire in a lot of these other brothers. But he says straight up, "Hey, I'm a trick." You know what I'm saying? I spend the
Mm-hmm.
cash, and that's what it is. Um, and then you got Drake, and Drake, whereas he's not married or anything, he's single. Doesn't really seem like he's trying to look for marriage, anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
he does have a child. Um, and Drake, what stands out about Drake, or why I threw him in the mix, if you listen to his music and the type of vibes he puts out, he seems like he's a very much in my feelings type of guy, very sensitive guy, you know, um, always talking about how he feels in relationships and girls breaking his heart and that type of stuff. Whether that's real or not, we don't know, but that's the image he puts out there. So
Yeah.
I think that those are also types of men that are out there, one way or the other. And I don't think that you're necessarily right or wrong for being any one of these type of guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do think that when you enter in the dating realm, you, as well as the people that you're dealing with, need to have a clear understanding of which one of these type of guys that you are, or if you're a hybrid of maybe a couple of them, because when you put that energy forth, that lets people know how to respond to you. That lets people know how to deal with you. That lets women know how to deal with you. You know, um,
Yeah.
a lot of guys, from what I hear, when women talk, they are unsure who they are going into the dating realm, and that makes the women under that makes the women unsure of how to deal with them, because the women are reacting to you. The women are looking for
Mm.
leadership from you. So if you
Yeah.
go into the dating realm and you don't have a good clear understanding of yourself, a lot of sisters are saying that confuses them and gives them a very difficult time, understanding if they want to deal with you, or if they are dealing with you, how to deal with you, so forth and so on, how to proceed forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you hear that also, Aaron?
Yes, yes, I do. I do.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, uh, women know who they want to deal with. They know who's pretty much what guy's system they want to apply themselves in. So we gave 8 different guys, but there's plenty more other guys. We're just giving you a sample of the 8 guys that, off the top of the head that a lot of people know. Um, and like I say, you identify as men, close to what the person you is. So you might not be a Tyreek, you might not be a Morris, but you can say, oh, I'm close to Morris more than all those other guys, or I'm close to Tyreek, or I'm close to Drake, or I'm close to Corey. We just give you a basic general gist of who you would be close enough to be related to. Like, um, as men, we always ask women that all the time. We always
Mm,
ask women, okay, who do you look like? What celebrity do you look like? It doesn't mean that you look like a Beyonce or Kelly Rowland. But if you say, oh, yeah, I'm kind of like Kelly Rowland, then we have a general gist of what you look like. So,
right.
it goes around in all areas, of life that, you basically want to know who or what kind of person you're dealing with. So, yes, I do hear that much.
Mm, no, no doubt. Sisters
So,
go ahead.
huh. No, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, sisters are really, really, the same way that, brothers are out here, I would say having a spirited debate about what it is that sisters are lacking in and what they need from sisters before they can take them seriously. Sisters are doing the same thing, and rightfully so. I don't see anything wrong
Yeah.
with it. Um, I don't think that all quote unquote gender war conversations are really gender wars. I think that a lot of
Mm,
times it's just people putting it out there, some of the frustrations that they experience and some of the things, the behaviors that they want to see cease. I
mm,
think that when you have people come to the table that are, first of all, not very mature, and secondly, not really looking to learn anything, or figure out solutions, but just kind of want to babble aimlessly into perpetuity, yeah, that's when you start getting gender war conversations because no one is really listening in good faith. Every time I'm
Yeah.
in one of these spaces, I'm listening in good faith. I want to hear what the sisters have to say. Sisters that are good meaning
Hmm.
sisters, you know, it's just like, damn, I
Yeah.
keep experiencing this problem, da 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 da. And sometimes I give them advice because you can see
Yeah.
that they're not bashing men. They're not bashing men. Some of them are
Yeah.
really trying to understand why we behave a certain way, why, you know, we putting certain energy out there, why we say one thing and then do another. We talk about, oh, you know, this type of woman that we love so much, but the woman that we dealing with doesn't look anything or act anything like that woman. A lot of times we are
Yeah.
contradicting. And, you know, I think that it warrants the conversation because if you can put it out there, like I was schooling one sister, I'm like, you know, y'all think that, you know, having the little shorts and with your titties out is, you know, a win because you get a lot of guys paying attention to you. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, they're paying attention to you, but for what reason? You know what I'm saying? Some of those guys that are paying attention to you is because you look easy. You look like a hoe. And that's why they're paying you attention. And you got to stop and think as a woman, do you want that kind of attention? Because, you know,
Mm.
unfortunately, you know, she was telling me, hey, sometime, you know, I'll get, you know, because she used to be kind of out there like that, right? She toned it down as she got older. And like she's
Mm.
noticing the difference with guys now. So you gotta keep in mind a lot of women, they don't have no older brothers, they don't have no fathers to get in no game like this. So they just go out there
Mm.
doing what they see, you know, Cardi B do or what they see Nicki Minaj do or whoever, you know, just kind of over sexualizing themselves and putting themselves out there like that. Well, what they
Mm.
don't understand, and I'm not justifying what Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, and them do. I'm just putting it in context. They don't understand that's a show. They're
Mm.
entertainers. They're going to be over the top somewhat in the way they present themselves because that's part of the show. You're trying to excite a crowd. You're trying to get a reaction out of the crowd. You, as a regular schmegular everyday person, you understand what I'm saying? That's not, you don't want to, you're not putting on a show, or you shouldn't be. You understand what I'm saying? You're trying to deal with a person that you expect to take you seriously, and you're sending all the wrong signals to make them take you seriously.
Correct.
How that
Correct.
work? You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So her having that conversation with me, she gets it now. Oh, so yeah. And it makes perfect sense. But when you hear a guy say it, and then when you hear other men say it that you respect, that ain't trying to smash, they're just having a conversation with you.
Hmm.
Now it takes on a whole new energy, a whole new life form. It's like, okay, this person is giving me advice from a space of I don't want nothing from you, but to help you. And a lot
Mm.
of sisters, I think, would do better with men if they had that type of thing and understanding the type of men that they have, if they dealt more with guys, maybe just on a conversational level before trying to, you know, jump out there and be in relationships, because it makes a big difference when you have talked to some guys that are going to be honest with you, that are not trying to, like you say, talk you out your drawers. These guys just
Hmm.
want, they're just friends, they're just cool, they like brothers to you. Or, you know, some sisters who actually have brothers and who actually have a father or stepfather figure around. I've noticed it's usually night and day dealing with them than dealing with a lot of sisters that haven't had the benefit of that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, you got a gang of different types of dudes out here, and ladies, you know, you gotta understand before you start rocking with these dudes how they move, what their energy is like. And fellas, you have to understand for yourself also, because other than that, you go out into the dating pool and you just end up wasting somebody's time. It's just a pointless interaction based on nothing, you know,
Yeah.
and that's where all the bitterness and the gender wars and all that come from. When people feel like somebody wasted their time and did them dirty, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
that's why we are where we are now. We have to undo all that. We gotta start to have these conversations and unthink a lot of the bullshit that we've been taught about the opposite gender. But I am putting it out there. I'm putting it out there right now. You know, sisters who have complaints about brothers in the dating pool are not all bashing men and not all men haters. Some of them have legitimate points and legitimate criticism that we need to listen to and try to come to a consensus and meet them on solid ground. That's what I feel. What you say, man? What you say, Ann?
No, I agree. You know, there are gripes about it, and like I said, tonight we're going to show and point out some of the things that men do that need to be corrected um, and needs change behavior because it kind of sheds light um, in a bad way on the collective of men. There's a lot of things that a lot of guys do that end up we get the bad end of it because you know we get lump sum and grouped all together. So
Right.
there are things that we are going to talk about tonight that are going to show you basically, you know, that certain things that men need to do and tighten up with. I do want to say that when men are addressing certain things, this is for the men. When men are addressing certain things, ladies, you guys have to stop being so defensive and attack men when it could be just something so basic and so simple that a lot of times men get attacked for. Um, you know, and it's always a double standard. Like women want to know information from a man, but when a man access certain information from women, he gets attacked for it. He gets bashed for it,
Right.
and that type of stuff that you women do, it kind of puts men in a shell, and it also puts men in a point where they don't know how to express themselves or don't want to express themselves because they don't want to go through that. And some men will not go through that because they know that if they take it there, it might take them to another level where they might lose control. And then it goes all the way left and ends up being something it should have never been in the first place.
Yeah.
So I do want to show a personal attacks that I'm talking about when that men have to deal with because a lot of times women say that they don't get enough men to approach women and a lot of times it's because the way women react when men approach them, or even if a woman approached them, it's just the words that come out that be so condescending and so it feels so attackful when
Yeah.
addressed at a man. So I want to show you this video real quick, and
Real talk.
then we'll definitely get into that.
Okay, how tall are you? How tall am I? Oh, I'm 5'10". Oh my goodness. Okay, but for real. What? I'm serious. I'm 5'10". Oh. Okay. I didn't know I was messing with a short guy, but okay. Anyways, how much are you packing? Like, how big is it? I don't really feel comfortable giving out that information right now. Like, we're at Olive Garden. Okay. Is giving shrimp.
Girl,
You heard me?
yeah,
I'm sorry, but like, if it's small, just say that.
for real.
If it's
Yes,
small,
honey.
just say that. Okay, well, since we asking stuff, how much do you weigh?
What? You don't ask a lady that. What did he ask?
Excuse me, what did you just say?
That's what he just said at
Like,
this
who
table.
are you? You're not
What
even
did he
on
say,
the
girl?
date. Like, why are
He
you?
asked her how much does she weigh. Like what? Wow.
Seriously?
Why do you care about how much she weigh?
Like,
Like
for
if you're
real.
gay, just say that. If you like men, just say that.
Ew, I'm not gay.
Whoa, what? Ill? What do you mean ill? Right.
What you mean? You just said it as an insult. Like,
Wow, you homophobic, misogynistic jerk. Mm-hmm. Tell him, boy. Wow.
you females always.
What?
What's funny is we know people just like that. Me and you.
Yeah.
We see them online all day. They they got all the smoke for you. They can insult a man to within an inch of his life. As soon as you ask a woman a very basic question, you're all types of misogynist, you're a chauvinist, you're sexist, you're what's the other one they like to use? They be making up shit now. The new ones that they use. Oh, you're a cishet male. You ever heard that one? You're a cishet male,
Oh
and they tell a sister
no, I
that
know.
you male identify, you're cisgendered breeder. Man, they be saying
Oh
all kind of
Lord.
stupid shit. Listen, at the end of the day, when man, and I've been this person before, where
Mhm.
women have said things to me that was kind of sideways, and me, I'm
Yeah,
volatile. So
yeah,
I'm gonna light your ass up. You gonna feel real bad by the time I finish talking about you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Even if you're attractive, I will make you feel like the lowest thing on earth by the time I'm done with your monkey ass. I don't play that. But it comes from, first of all, being raised in the hood. You know what I'm saying? When you in the hood, you raised in the hood, you know how to rank.
yeah,
It's like survival. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody be
yeah,
ranking on everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I went to
yeah,
Brownsville and Flora Heights, man. You can't outrank me. And
yeah,
when you decide you want to go into your little bag and you want to kiki and kaka, we gonna find out how that really works. And I'm mean with it too, because
yeah,
what that guy said, he was just kind of giving them a taste of their own medicine. You asking me
yeah,
all these personal questions and you kikiing and kakaing at the smallest thing, but when I ask you the reverse, it's a
yeah,
problem. You want to clutch your pearls and you want to get fake offended. You
yeah,
can get fake offended all you want. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna take Jesus to heal you by the time I'm finished lighting your ass up for talking stupid. We gotta push
yeah.
back against that at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
If
definitely,
if
definitely.
you if you really feel like you in your heart of hearts, you want to come for a brother, that's why quiet as it's kept. That's why brothers love Kevin Samuel so much.
Yeah,
That's the real reason. Because man, you get these women calling in with their head so big they can barely walk in through the door. You understand what I'm saying? Because they got a little basic ass job and they can pay their own bills, which you're supposed to do if you're adult anyway. And they'll
yeah,
sit up here and talk about how they deserve this pie in the sky ass dude. You know what I'm saying? That check all the boxes. And when you look at them, they are absolutely nothing that type of man would want. Make it
mm-hmm.
make sense. And
Yeah,
when they start talking, most guys before Kevin Samuels, these dating and relationship guys, either they wouldn't talk to the women, or when they did talk to them, they handled them with kid gloves. Oh, poor baby, they give them the Derek Jackson treatment, just blow smoke up their ass and tell them stupid shit that don't make no sense. No, Kevin Samuels lit their ass up, let them know, hey, don't nobody want you. You're average at best. That was my favorite video because I'm looking at this
mm-hmm.
woman talking all this pie in the sky, and it's like, dude, what, which one of those guys is looking for you as their first choice? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
And yeah, you got to just kind of put it out there sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Women
yeah,
do that, and guys who, we talk about what type of guy are you to stay keeping spirit with
yeah,
the conversation that we're having. Guys that are a little timid, a little shy, you know, a little what's the word I'm looking for? Guys that just are a little soft, really, at the end of the day.
yeah,
They won't give as good as they get. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? And again, when women talk all this bullshit about Kevin Samuels, his tone, oh my God, clutching my pearls, his tone. You got all that to say about Kevin Samuels and nothing to say about these maniacs that call into his show. What about their tone? I've never heard Kevin
yeah,
Samuels go in on somebody who was respectful and kind. I've never heard it.
mm,
You understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? He goes in on these people because they be talking slick to him. And these
yeah,
two little yuck mouth chicks that was in this video, they was talking slick to this dude. He didn't even get back at him. Really, he just asked a basic question and they want to get fake offended. He should have really gone back at them like they came at him and laughed at them a little bit. You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying? Let them
yeah,
know how it feels. No, we're not doing this, this two sets of rules, well, when you do it, it's this, and when I do it, it's that we ain't doing that no more.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. Men have figured
Yeah.
out the con, and men are speaking up for themselves, and they're not allowing that. They're checking that at the door, and that's what's up. Now go ahead. You were saying that.
So they basically, men are they're not tolerating the BS anymore. And one of the things that I liked about Kevin Samuels, well, one episode I truly liked about Kevin Samuels, and it wasn't even an episode. It was just that quick, right? And there was a there was a clip that he said, so the people call in and they were like, hey, he selected me, said, okay, I'm gonna select you. And he select this woman and she came on. And he was just drinking his drink. He was like, all right, how you doing, ma'am? He says, all right, I'm doing fine. So he's like, okay, so tell me your name and your age. And she said her name, and then she was like, oh, well, guess my age. And
I remember that.
He's like, what? She's like,
that.
guess. And he just looked and he just ended the live, right? And
That's
he
my
said,
guy.
Guess these nuts. And I think a lot of people got offended by that. But when you look at what he did was, this is his platform. This is our platform, right? So you set the tone of what your platform is. And it doesn't have to be, we don't have to even look. I can take away Kevin's platform. I can take away our platform. I can put Oprah's platform. I can put Jada Pinkett's platform. I can put any woman's platform up. And if a guy comes on there with the foolishness,
talking stupid,
then he gonna get dealt with. I see Judge Judy. She's notorious for doing that.
She don't play.
She'll check. Judge Judy don't play at all. She'll tell a guy, quit. And she'll be like, all right, cool. You owe, case dismissed. Bye. And I'll be like, whoa, wow, this lady don't play the radio. But guess what? You came in her courtroom with the bull crap. When you go in there, you're supposed to have authority. This is this person's platform. They have the authority to change your life or whatever fashion. You come in there and you present yourself as somebody that is trying to learn or trying to get something. You don't come in there playing like that. You know what I'm saying? So she set the tone and he reset the tone. So I thought that was dope because, a lot of times men, and she's a very attractive woman, and a lot of times men come in and they'll sit back and say, they'll coddle her and be like, oh, man, come on, man, we ain't playing. And no, he just he don't care who it was. He was going to do that and he was going to check her. And that's what he did. So that was very funny. But I did want to show you this right here that goes along with women, going at men heavy for the basic accountability, right? So men know for a fact that there's no easy way to criticize a woman. And we know that because of last week's show, right? And because most times the delivery doesn't matter. So he's 100% right. Look at social media. Men get insulted, shamed, and ridiculed for trying to generally criticize women that he doesn't know and isn't talking to personally, but lots of women take it personal and attack men in some way, shape, or form. That's honestly why a bunch of men hold things in, especially in relationships. And I thought that was dead on because that was dead on because that happens a lot. I see it happen a lot. And that's one of the reasons why I played the clip and I showed you guys this post that somebody wrote because when it comes to men are trying to put their best foot forward. And by doing that, I told you guys before, and I know people have called me and told me, hey, I know you were bold saying it, but I totally believe you, but I can't say it. And these are women that's calling me and telling me this. But when I told everybody a couple episodes back that men are the prize and men should be seen as the prize. And, when you look at it, a man is out there looking for his wife, meaning that he's looking for a woman that fits in his system. Women
Right.
can go out here all day and look for a man, but if that man doesn't choose you, then you're gonna be like Chrissy from New York. What's the hip hop
Mhm.
New York? And you're gonna be on your knees proposing to a man like she did Jim Jones.
I
You know
didn't
what I'm
see that.
saying? Because a
Wow.
man doesn't choose you. You know, I mean, a man choose you. You don't choose a man. So you can go out here and you could show him and you could try to propose to him and you'll get publicly embarrassed like she did. She had to
Mm,
take that L on national TV.
that's
You know what I
crazy.
mean?
I missed that.
And that's crazy, right? But
Hmm.
women allow men for sex.
Yeah.
Men have to grant women the next level of eternity, which is marriage.
Right.
That's when
Right.
a man gets on his knees and proposes to a woman and says, you know what? You are the best woman for my system.
Hmm.
Let's ride out this life together and let's live happily ever after in a
Right.
healthy relationship. A man grants that because you could feel a certain way about a man, but if a man doesn't go above and beyond for you, meaning when I say you know you have that one woman when you do things just because you want to make sure she's straight. Like
Right.
I've been in a situation where a woman I was close to getting married to,
Mm.
and I was making sure, I called, man, you good? I would come down to her job and I would drop off food, making sure that the bills and everything is good. I was going above and beyond that I normally don't do for a woman. That's how you know you're getting closer to that level
Right.
of marriage. You know what I'm saying? You like, shoot, I don't see nobody else. This is who I want to be with. This is who I want to end off life with. And
Yep.
that's once a man gets to that level, you're going to see the rings. You're going to be happy. You're going to love him because he's going to do everything that you want him to do. And he's going to make sure he does everything because he values you. And
Right.
that's
Yes.
what happens in the long run. So when
Hmm.
I see things like, when women don't want to take the correct criticism or don't want to take accountability, when men are out here trying to show you and tell you this is the general gist of what men go through, this is what men looking forward to, this is what turns men off. We as black men are different from white men because I tell people all the time in white society, they adore and they worship um I want to say um promiscuous women, right?
Mm. Mm.
However you want to call them, that's on you. But I'll say promiscuous women. And what
Hmm.
I mean by that, you look at the Anna Nicole who had a older man, and you had all these other white women that was running around that was sleeping with different men, and they end up being wifed up, and they get wifed up real quick.
Mm.
That culture, that behavior does not work for our society, in the black society. The
No.
minute you run around and you do that and you add up body counts like that,
Hmm.
nobody's going to take you serious like that. You're going to have success stories every now and then.
Yeah.
Yes, it does happen. Everybody knows somebody that we always say wifed up a hoe, right?
Yeah.
Or turned a
Yeah.
hoe into a housewife.
Mhm.
That was a very predominant saying, turning a hoe into a housewife.
Right.
You
In the
do
90s.
have,
Yeah.
yeah, you do have fellas that did that, that's still doing that, but it's
Hmm.
not on a mass statistical level. Once you run those miles up, guys are going to hit it and quit it. They're
Hmm.
not going to really stick and stay.
Real.
Um,
Real. Real.
so you have to be very cautious about how you maneuver in the black society, because once you labeled as that, then
Hmm.
a lot of times guys turn away, they turn their eyes away from it, and then you have to, as a woman, now you have to go outside your realms or date guys that pretty much are not from America. I know a
Exactly.
girl personally. I know a
Yeah.
girl personally that ran through a lot of dudes that's very popular.
Yeah.
And her dude's not a dude from the US. He's
I
not.
know who you're talking about. You're talking about the little Dirk chick, the chick that blocked me when I lit her ass up on the little Dirk post.
I'm not going to say who it is,
Uh.
but I will say this. that
Mm.
a lot of times people got to understand that a lot of people got to understand that what's done in the past do come back to haunt you and block you in the
True.
future. You know what I'm
True.
saying? And there's guys that have dealt with women that found their information out because they try to hide it from them. But
Mm-hmm.
in the streets and to the ears of the streets, people talk. There's guys out there that pillow talk, and
Mm-hmm.
it probably most likely came back to him, and he got out of that situation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And then you also got to look at China Black. So is that Black China?
Black
Black
China.
China.
Yeah.
Even look at Black China. Black China has went through that phase. She had to go all the way out to the white dude, and the white dude didn't even want nothing to do with her. Right? He got the
Crazy.
child from her,
Crazy.
but he don't want nothing to do with her. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
insane.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing that people got to understand, that in our culture, in our society, we have to
Mm.
operate a little differently because our people have a different mindset than other people.
What you
So
talking about? Yeah.
yes. So,
And I look, just
you
put it
know,
out there. I don't want to say her name either, but I know who you're talking about. But to piggyback on that, so you got these women, like you said. Let me just piggyback and add to that. What's up, Brad Boss?
uh-huh.
We see you. Um, yeah, it is the exception and not the rule. So
Mm,
many of these sisters like to get out here and say, "Oh, but you know, Black China did it, and this girl did it, and I know another girl who did it." But by and large, you're
mhm.
not looking at the big picture overwhelmingly. Especially, you want these pie in the sky dudes who got these six-figure incomes. They work for these Fortune 500 companies, whatever the case may be. First of all, it's a very small percentage of them that are black. You understand what I'm saying? You say you want black men, okay. And then, a black man who's in that type of position is not looking for a woman that's going to embarrass him and make him look stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I But women will tell you, this is why the media is so powerful. Women will tell you, I've seen so many women out here posting, why am I out here doing this good girl stuff when hoes is winning? They
Yeah.
actually say this type of shit. They really believe
Yeah.
this because you see, a chick here, a chick there, and you see them getting off a private jet or whatever, and you see them with a different pair of red bottoms every time you see them. First of all, most of that shit is for show. They're broke. You understand? I
Yeah.
know some of these so-called influencers, they're broke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like real talk, most of them are broke. And you know, by and large, nobody ever really takes them seriously. Here and there, you know, I remember Fee was saying something like this, talking about she wishes that there were more success stories of good, decent women out here. And I
Mhm.
replied, there are plenty of success stories with good, decent women out here. But you know what? They're not the loud, raunchy hood rat out here trying to get attention from any and everybody. They're very
Yeah.
quiet, very to themselves, and they're enjoying their lives and building their families. I mentioned Morris Chestnut earlier. Him and his wife have been together forever and a day. You've never heard a
Mhm.
peep out of any of them about no scandal, no cheating, no this, no that. Not to say that didn't happen, but it looks like they're pretty happy. Look at Lorenz Tate and his wife. Same thing. There are any number of people. I'm just mentioning celebrities because these are the only people that we all know, that we all see.
Mhm.
But there are any number of these cats that don't have a whole lot of mess out here and drama. I would say the majority of them don't. But the ones that get highlighted and talked about, you understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying, are the ones that have all this drama going on. And so it makes it seem like, it's a shit show. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it makes it seem like, well, damn, if these women who are in these committed relationships, are having all this hell, I might as well just go out here and be a hoe.
Mhm.
I've actually had women say that to me, bro. Real talk. So it's a real thing. The media is a very powerful thing, and you know, people really don't understand the the gravity that attention has. in today's media. Nothing actually has to be real. It
Hmm.
just has to appear real long enough for you to pay attention to it, to get me my clout and blow me up a little bit. And that's what it is. You got women out here literally talking about how they slept with over 2,000 men, like that's a flex. You understand
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But people go to their page, people subscribe to them, people in their inbox trying to get them to do something strange for a piece of change, whatever the case may be. So
Hmm.
for the purposes of what they were trying to do, it worked great. You understand what I'm saying? But it's an overall L for the culture. It's an overall L for sisters, because that don't look good on you, sisters, when somebody's out there behaving like that and they're wearing your uniform. You understand what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Us as brothers, we know that it don't look good for us like that when somebody's out there cutting a fool and they look like us. You know what I'm saying? But I've said this before and I'll say this again. Like you pointed out earlier, the
Hmm.
difference between us and a lot of the sisters, clearly not all, but a lot of them, we will hold each other accountable. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? They got a million and one excuses why, what this woman did was cool, simply because she's a woman and there's no accountability and nobody grows like that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And if there's a dude, if you're on social media and you amping and supporting this type of bullshit, somebody who would have took you seriously is gonna be like, nah, she's a bird like the rest of them, and he's not gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So we got to get out of this weird space, man. Like, hey, everybody needs to be held accountable. Right is right, wrong is wrong, it's black and white. Let's get it together, folks. Everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's what it is. That's
Exactly.
the long and short of it.
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
we want to just highlight how men are looking for women that are, we see a change in our women, that from back in the days to how they are now, how they
Mm-hmm.
operate, the way they carry themselves. So when you see men out here that are very picky, and you're wondering why men aren't selecting certain women, is because the truth and the fact is a man wants a good woman. They want a
Yeah.
good girl. That's always going to be the thing. They'll have fun with a woman that they want to have fun with, but at the end of the day, when they want to settle down with, they want to settle down with a good woman. That's why you
Mm-hmm.
have some guys out there that will not have, they don't want their girl to give them fellatio. Like,
Mm,
they
true.
don't they don't want to see that from their woman.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather get that from a woman that is a jump off that they dealt with, but they wouldn't want that when they get in a committed relationship. They don't
True.
want that type of imagery from their own woman because it kind of
True.
feels kind of disrespectful to some men. So I do want to show how women were back in the day and
Mhm.
the direction that we're going in now. All right. So this is how women were gracefully looking back in the day. And the women back in the day were just naturally beautiful. They were just some of God's greatest creation. They were just naturally beautiful,
No doubt.
right? They didn't have the BBLs or nothing like that. Even the women, we were growing up in an era like the 80s and 90s where
Yeah.
the slim women were getting all the looks. They were
Slim
the
and fit.
Yes,
Yeah.
slim and fit. The
Hmm.
Lisa Bonets and the
Right.
Holly Berries and Stacey Dash and these women that were just very slim and fit that just was getting everybody's eyes and attention. You
Hmm.
know, when you look at the differences of, just the different women out there. But back then they just had a style and grace to them that just was so immaculate. The way they carried themselves. That's why we had a bigger percentage of households being married. Now, it's a
Yes.
combination of a lot of things, but a lot of it was the way women carried themselves, the way women gracefully walked across, or the attention that they, you know, I want to say the attention that they answered to was you had to come to them on or step to them on some real level stuff. Remember back in the days, we
Yeah.
always used to see songs or movies that be like, hey, if you want to get a girl like me, you have to step up and talk to me like, you talk to me like a respectful woman. You don't just
Right.
come up and hollering and all that. We don't even see that nowadays. We don't even see
Nah.
women. checking like that or asking or demanding that type of stuff. And
True.
what happens is over the years, it has deteriorated to where now the basic general guidelines and boundaries and needs have been bare minimum now. And
Right.
because they're so bare minimum, that everybody is suffering and the women are suffering from it. So the reason why I say women are suffering from it is because we have Patti LaBelle that was she had came out. So Patti LaBelle, 78, says she wants to date again after divorcing her husband 20 years ago. As she stops by to Jennifer Hudson's show, she says, I'm too good to be solo. So when you have the narrative out here that people, oh, you know, you're pushing this independent stuff, and you have
Mm-hmm.
Sierra, we talked about Sierra last week, pushing the
Mm-hmm.
independent song when she's
Right.
married and stuff like that. When you get to a certain age, I mean, you want somebody that you come home to day and day night, that you could share thoughts, the world with,
Yeah.
dealing with the crazy inflation with, somebody to protect you, to provide for you, that person that's your other half, that other leg of yours. You know, you want that because look, when you get older and your children, if you have children, they might be around. If you don't have children, man, it's just between you and the nursing home or wherever the government puts you when you're not capable of knowing what the hell going on. You know, you get
It's
to
a
that
wrap.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to that point of not knowing what's going on. You can't, so they have to place you somewhere. But if you
Yeah.
have a mate, you guys help each other out and you survive. And this is why, you know, one of the most beautiful, it's a beautiful moment and a curse at the same time,
Yeah.
right? And one of the most beautiful and cursed moments that I know of is the moment when an elderly couple, when one of them pass away, the
Mm.
other one normally pass away in hours, weeks, or a month later,
Month. Yeah.
because
It's usually
yeah,
close.
they're so close to each other, like that
Mm-hmm.
bond is unbreakable. So when it
Yeah.
breaks, the other one breaks too. A lot of times when they do the autopsy and they say, "Oh, what, they must have died of natural causes." No,
Right.
they pretty much died of a broken heart. That's where we
Broken
get
heart.
this.
Yeah.
You can die from a broken heart. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
And
But yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, right? It's just so crazy how all of that comes into play, and people don't understand how severe that is, right?
Yeah.
And so I saw this is to add on to that, right? She says, you know, I've
Mm-hmm.
mentored older women that have been divorced, that have divorced their husbands after 30 years. And my question is, why? And their answers are so juvenile. They waited until their late 30s, 40s, or 50s and decided they want to live life and travel. And I've asked why you haven't traveled and stayed married. But what I've learned is it's about sex. My
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, they are not thinking of their senior years. It's nothing more rewarding than growing old with someone swinging on the front porch. I blame social media, its accessibility to all people and images. And if you're an adult and has zero restraint or discipline in your life, this is the end result: a 78-year-old man or a black woman saying they want to date again. Our community was taught so wrong, and now we're suffering.
Spot on, sister. Spot on. And it's even better that it's coming from a woman, because if a man says something
Exactly.
like that, so many women who are really the ones that need to hear it will be
Yeah,
dismissive of it. But when a woman
exactly.
says it about another woman, you can't
Yeah.
dismiss it so easily. That's why,
Hmm.
the Tia Mowry repost where I reposted after
Yeah.
two sisters had just finished lighting her ass up. That's why, it really didn't carry any weight when some of these women was, trying to cop pleas and making up all these excuses for why it was okay. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, this is another situation, this shouldn't be happening. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to my girl, the other day about this with my wife. I got to make sure I call her my wife every some
Yeah,
month
you
first.
about to go. You about to be in the doghouse. You will tighten that
You
shit
know what
up.
I'm saying? I want to get in trouble. But, she was just saying that. I was talking to her about that the other day about how it's just so weird and unnatural, our dating habits now.
Mm,
I was explaining to her, really and truly at the end of the day, because before we started talking, she was like, "My God, you are so picky." You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And just, the type of things I would say, I don't date women over a certain age, over a certain weight, and I don't have any fear of loss. Like when you were saying earlier,
Mm,
when the girl came on and she was telling Kevin to guess her age, and he just hung up on her ass, and he's like, "But she was very pretty." Then I said it didn't matter. You know,
mm.
Women are not used to hearing that from men.
Yeah,
If you're cute, if you're a little bit cute, you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? You got a certain amount of ass kissing that's headed your way from,
yeah,
a selective group of simps. They just gonna walk behind you with a pooper scooper. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
anytime you give them shit, they gonna shovel it and pick it
yeah.
up and put it in the bucket. And it's like, yo, guys, we have to really, find our pants. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Stop being, sissified out here, man. Stand up for yourself. Speak up. Hey, I ain't feeling that. You don't talk to me that way. Get people together and get them together early. Because there's a
Yeah.
whole culture out here that's dismissive of anything that you have to say. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Realistically, man, I told her, like, really, as a woman, you shouldn't, from where I sit, you shouldn't be in your 40s dating, let
Yeah.
alone in your 70s. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
This should have been
Hmm.
figured out already. I mean, unless, hey, something happened, you were married to somebody, they died. God forbid, God bless you, you move on. But just generally speaking, and things are where they are now, right? But generally
Hmm.
speaking, you should have settled down and figured out where you're going to be and all that shit as a woman by the time you're 30, as a
Hmm.
guy by the time you're 40. That's how I see it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because women have a biological clock. It's a little different. You want to configure in, time to have kids and all that type of stuff. But you should have figured all that out and settled down and married by the time you're 30. These are your
Hmm.
prime years as a woman. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You going back out here, it's going to be a lot more difficult with you because you got to compete with women half your age for the same men. It's already a slender amount of men to choose from. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, sister is giving good game. Yes, we have been taught incorrectly from when we were, 5, 6 years old, and a lot of times all the way into adulthood. Look at the women out here that are encouraging Lori Harvey to keep hopping from this dude to that dude. You're
Yeah.
squandering your prime years. What are you doing? Why are you encouraging her that? So she to do that so she can have a failed dating and relationship life like you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, that's not the way. You should be telling young sisters, hey, find you a good brother, good gentleman, settle down. Felicia put up a post last week. God bless it. Did you see the post where she was talking about, she was going through something and, the only person that she wanted was her husband. And, sisters, you need to go out, find you a good black man, settle down and marry and start your life with him and blah, blah, blah. It was a beautiful, beautiful post. I would
I didn't
like
see
to
that one.
see, yeah, I would like to see more sisters doing stuff like that because we're
Yeah.
in a very weird space where we see a lot of women out here trying to talk women out of marriage. There's a video I put up earlier this week where a sister was complaining about all the women out here trying to talk women out of marriage.
Yeah.
Where they do that at? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Especially since marriage is an institution that really broadly benefits women.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's really
Hmm.
for your benefit more so than it is for the men. So,
Yeah.
but you got your knuckleheads out here. You got your knucklehead
Yeah.
contingency. Anything that they can spew their bitterness towards. You understand? They're going to target that thing and they're going to continue to spew their bitterness and their bile because they're just unhappy and hurt at the end of the day. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Too
Correct.
many
Correct.
out here like that, and they're proactively trying to sabotage other sisters. We've talked about this before,
Yeah.
about some of these females attacking decent sisters, attacking natural sisters. What's that about if it's not about sabotage? You feel me?
Exactly. And the thing about it is we have sisters that's running around doing, sisters that getting bad advice, and especially at an elder age, and running out here like you a young woman. So
Right.
just to warn you, anybody watching, it's not graphic, but it is a bit descriptive for a woman to be out here doing this. So this is an older woman who's on her Facebook. This is a Facebook post. This isn't something I scrambled through. As you can see, it say +2. So when you're putting up a Facebook post, you're putting up multiple pictures. So if you go anything over 5,
Yeah.
it's gonna say +2. So this was her post that she put up to entice men.
Wow.
And it's like, at that age, like, what are you doing?
You
Why are
still
you
doing
doing
that?
that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's no way that you should be doing this. You're somebody's I'm at that age, I would think she's somebody's grandma,
Grandmother,
much less
yeah.
somebody's
Great
mother.
grandmother. Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to see my mom rolled up in a tub smoking a blunt like that, or whatever the case may be. Come on, you
Right.
have to have some kind of decorum when you get to this age. You're not the same young woman that you were before.
Right.
Even this woman, this is another woman, and I couldn't play the video. Because the video has music in it, and I don't want to get a copyright strike on
Yeah.
here. But in the
That's all.
video, she says that she has a 45-inch chest, she has a 39-inch waist, and she has a 56-inch thighs, like in that area, hips, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like this doesn't make sense. Like, when you're at this age, it's real sad.
Yeah.
And when we talk about men out here, when a lot of men that you guys running around here and trying to, link up with these older women, and you're trying to knock them down, and all you're doing is you're setting these women up for basic failure, because the little bit of love that you're giving them, you are now making them think that this is okay and this is right. And
Right.
we as men have to have more standards. So it's not really, I'm
Correct.
putting this up to shame this lady. I'm putting this up to show men, like, you got to elevate your standards, because they think that you are going to be enticed by this. And some of you guys are so weak that you guys go into sex, your head game goes into sex so fast
Right.
that you guys automatically fall victim and get caught up with a woman like this, when you should be saying to the sister, like, nah, that ain't a good look. I would love for you to be clothed up like, the Mary girls, or,
Right.
Tamala Anderson, or somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, just making sure that we getting our women back on the track of saying, look, you're more valuable than what you're showing. You know what I'm
Agreed.
saying? Because if you come down with a dress that is, even if it was form fitting,
Mm-hmm.
something that was elegant and form fitting, that would be super improvement for you and looks more appealing to you. And also, as a man that's looking at this versus something that you're in a formal wear, I'm now, the way I treat you, how you look here, is not how I treat you when I see you in a formal look. Because now when I see you
Right.
in a formal look, I got to be on my P's and Q's, and I got to come at you
Mm-hmm.
on some respect level. This, I can
Right.
just give you the bare minimum and see if that pulls you in. So it also is basically there for the guys to, like, understand what's going on and what is the real deal with everything. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I
Real.
I just wanted to show y'all that, and now we're gonna get into the men. We have a lot of men that's out here. Um, you guys are doing some crazy stuff that we want to talk about. Um,
Hold
yeah,
up. Before you go to the bid, real quick,
yeah.
let me
Go
just
ahead.
make a couple points.
Yeah.
What's also very disappointing about these type of low energy women that you're bringing up, these are older
Hmm.
sisters, and that's That's particularly disappointing because
Yes.
these either are or
Hmm.
they are supposed to be
Yeah.
the people who are teaching the children.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And you got to look at it from the perspective of, if this is your mentality, this is how you comport and present yourself, and you're the teachers of the children, what are you teaching those children? See,
Exactly.
this is part and parcel of why our children are so screwed up. You understand what I'm saying? I know you say that you're not trying to shame, whatever the case may be. I am. I think
Hmm.
that you should be terribly ashamed if you're
Hmm.
if you're presenting yourself like that. And I think that one of the things that is wrong with our society right now is we don't have no shame.
Hmm.
That's the problem. Back in the days, you know, other women wouldn't even get to the men. Other women would be
Hmm.
all over her. What are you doing with yourself? She would not be able to walk in her community with her head held high.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Presenting yourself like that, especially as an elder, I always try to think even when I was back in my days when I was younger, thinking about doing knucklehead stuff, I would think about the people who I admired and what they would think of me. I would always think, damn, what would Malcolm X think of a young black man who did something like that? And
Hmm.
I just wouldn't do it. What would Elijah Muhammad think of a young man, black man to do something like that? And I just have to put myself in that same headspace when I look at a picture like that. What would Betty
Yeah.
Shabazz think of that? What would Coretta Scott King think of that? What would Dr. Francis Cress Wilson think of that?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? The type of things that we allow, in social media, good and well, every time you or me, every time we fart and cough, they want to put us in Facebook jail.
Yeah.
But you don't want, and they want to take down our post, but that's okay. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? This type
Hmm.
of over sexualized imagery for a senior woman, you understand what I'm saying? That's okay.
Hmm.
It's despicable. And one last thing, and I'll land my plane. My mom said this to me. I get a lot of good game from my mother, and
Yeah.
this is why it helps to have strong sisters around. My mom
Hmm.
told me this, like back in the days, like in the 70s, when she was coming up, if you were a guy, you wanted to talk to a girl, not only did you have to approach her in a certain way, as far as the way you talk to her, the way you put yourself together, you had to, in addition to that, you had to actually be about something. This was during the civil rights movement, right? So,
Hmm.
like, if you wasn't part of the struggle and you wasn't, out here actively helping somebody organize or whatever, women didn't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that used to be a part of the whole, vernacular, that was expected of you as a man. If you
Hmm.
wasn't out here helping and being part of the cause and lending yourself to the cause, wasn't no woman of no consequence paying you no attention.
Yeah.
You were considered a buster. You were persona non grata. And that space where women not only had standards, but they had high standards, and
Hmm.
they were really about something, and they required men to be about something. That type of assertiveness, that type of active assertiveness when it comes to selecting a mate is totally missing today. And I
Yes.
would like to see more of that, because sisters think that, a lot of guys, we don't want them to be assertive, or we don't want them to think. That couldn't be farther from the truth. It is
Yeah.
the absence of, this type of assertiveness, and the absence of this type of intelligence, that makes men of consequence, men that are serious, men that are worthy, not
Hmm.
be interested in you. But
Exactly.
go ahead, man. I just wanted to interject that before you went on to
Oh
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
spot.
No, that was a great point.
Yeah.
And it leads us to the next point, which is you talk about us being super sexual and super overly sexualized.
Right.
And so one thing I want to get to the guys, this is something that we got to eradicate out of our community. I'm seeing too many guys that do this type of behavior, but you have to have DM etiquette. You got to make sure that when you're hopping in these DMs, that you're hopping in them with a way of asserting yourself and presenting yourself in the best form possible.
Right.
A lot of you guys are just running in these DMs, and I'm hearing
Ridiculous.
so many guys are just throwing their penis in these DMs. You know, you have to have self control. You got to control it. Be a sapiosexual. Which you sapiosexual is a person that craves intellect. You're an intellect being, you love intelligent conversation, dialogue, and knowledge. Be a sapiosexual. Don't be this sexual dude. Be a sapiosexual. So
Real
you're
talk.
thinking and connecting with their mind before you even elevate into the body. And I want to show you this video that kind of shows that type of stuff. This is the type of behavior some of you low energy Negroes out there are displaying, and I'm sick and tired of it. So I'm tired of seeing this low energy behavior. We got to cut this out.
Oh my god, it's
Mm.
oh my
How you
god.
doing? You better be careful. There's a creeper behind you.
Don't. Wait, don't. That's good. Oh my god, I really do love you. My Discord name is Kermit, and my Instagram name is Kermit is hot. I love you.
Oh, damn. Love you
I
too.
love you.
Got something for you.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. You said you love me, so.
No, but not your Willie.
Oh.
So we got to get that type of behavior. You're having a general conversation with a woman, and the
Just
first thing you
plain
do is
goofy.
you pull your wood out. You pull your wood out in the middle of the conversation to say, I got something for you. And there's a lot of guys out there that are doing that type of behavior. You're exuding that type of behavior. And I'm tired of hearing about you guys just throwing your meat in people's DMs like that. Like that to me is just
Ridiculous.
it doesn't make sense. There's nothing you could gain out of that by doing that. That's low energy. That doesn't excite no woman to do it. You might throw your thing in about, I would say, 5,000 DMs, and you might get one of these women that ain't in their right mind or low energy that might like what they see and tell you to come hook up. But you are embarrassing yourself because the 4,999 other individuals are disgusted and they got their name running around
Yeah.
social media saying that this guy's
Mhm.
a pervert, and now your
Yeah.
name is blasted as a pervert, and you now are labeled as that, and that's not a good look for a guy, especially presuming that type of protruding that type of energy,
Today.
and it's just nothing positive out of that. You know what I mean? And you guys have to stop entertaining that, and you have to stop looking at women and start. And this, like I said, I just want you guys to be better men. Stop having low energy and demand more. Because what happens is you might get that one that tell you to come over because
Yeah.
you saw a picture on Instagram or social
Mm.
media, and she's looking like this, right? So you see you see her,
Uh,
she's looking like this on the left. And the first thing you're saying to yourself is, man, I want to hit that so bad. And then you finally get to hit it, and then you end up getting her pregnant. Now,
yeah.
women, you put yourself out there like that. And I don't know nothing about the sister. I don't know if she's married or whatever the case may be, or I don't know.
Mm.
But based by her caption, I think I would want to say it was an accidental because she says life
Mm.
is so unpredictable. So I don't know if it's accidental. I don't know if she was trying for a long time, but based on, there's a lot of women that put their vagina into the camera, like on the left, and we're so
Yeah.
sexualized as a group of people that all we're focusing on is that. And there's a lot
Right.
of women that want to put that out there for the attention and whatever it is. As a man, you have to step away from those type of women and say, hey, I don't want a woman that's low energy like that. I'm carrying
Right.
myself in a way, I'm going to project myself in a way, that way I avoid women like that. Because
Yeah.
guess what? When you get a woman like that pregnant, it's going to be a high chance that you're going to have some issues with her because
Yeah.
she's gonna probably keep doing the same thing, and another guy might come around, and whether that guy gets her pregnant or not, now you're gonna have to deal with issues with this guy and your child's mother that is going to take it to that next level. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I just want you guys to have the energy enough to know that you got to stay away from those type of women because
Yeah.
they'll cause you more headaches in the long run. I would love to see this sister married. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times people go the opposite way of things because guess what? Um, I know we talked about what's her name? What's the one that performed at the Super Bowl? Um,
Rihanna.
Rihanna. We talked about
Yeah.
Rihanna, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
know that a lot of people were going crazy about the whole picture and everything like that. But I I, I noticed something. They did it backwards,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want people to follow. I don't want people to follow um, celebrities and worship them, but take the bad part of celebrity worshiping, which is you're following a celebrity that's going the opposite than the traditional way. She's with ASAP Rocky. They should have got married before and then had the two children. They
Right.
went and got, they went and did they went and got pregnant the first time, then got pregnant again right back,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
now they're two children in, and now they're going to get married. Now, like I say, they're an exception to the rule because she is a celebrity. She has the money for to get that wedding and everything done. She knows this is who she wants to be with, create life with. They're going out now to get married. And I don't know if they got married this week or this later this month. I don't know when is their exact date, but I know
Mm-hmm.
that it was a statement saying that they were going to get married real soon. The wedding is coming. So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to them. Kudos to them for going and doing it and locking it up and solidifying what they got going on. But I
Sure.
want people to try to stay on the traditional road, especially if you don't have money like that. Remember, she's worth more than ASAP Rocky. That's another story in itself. You know
It's
what I'm
another whole
saying?
story.
Because the type of wedding that she might want, ASAP Rocky, he can't pay for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The margin of financial difference is way big.
It's
She's a
significant.
billionaire. He's a
Yeah.
millionaire. There's a
Mm-hmm.
big difference in
Big.
wealth gap.
Mm.
But at the same time, that's not to discourage my brother because he's probably handling business with how he's handling business. But I just want people to understand to go in the traditional way. That way, you don't have to, deal with certain situations or deal with accidents and then having to deal with somebody that's not committed to you into raising a child instead of hoping that this person will stay around to raise the child with you. So
Right.
it's very important for us to start bringing back a structure. This is why you look at a lot of people that's in the army and that's in the military, right? That's in the army and that's in the military. And those people are very successful people when they come in society. Why? Because a lot of military people are very structured people. They have a structured
Mm.
regimen. They have to get up early in the morning. They have to do running. They have to do drills. They have to listen
Just
to authority and obey authority or they get kicked out of it. So
right.
when you look at that, we had a lot, especially back in the days, we had a lot of military men in our household. That's why
We
our
did.
households were ran in such a structural way. And it was very good because that structure built you in a way where you can be successful. Without
Mm.
structure, you run all different directions and then you be like a chicken with your head cut off, like the saying said. So
Mm.
having that structure builds a foundation of success that comes with it. So we have to start getting back to being structural people and start having structures for ourselves and our children. So that way, like they always say, the apple don't fall too far from the tree because you
Right.
have a structure by it. You lead a train line. The train doesn't fall off the tracks because you have set the train line up in a way where all they have to do is just follow it in order to be successful. So we have to get to that level back to that level. That's part of unifying together and understanding what we got to do to build that solidified fort again. So I just wanted to make that point with that, but you can take over with that, Major.
No, I'm everything that you said was spot on, brother. I mean, we are all over the place right now. That really that is the problem. There is no structure. And it wasn't that Sukihana. That wasn't Sukihana, the chick in the picture.
No, no,
Uh,
no, no,
that wasn't her. Yeah,
no,
a
no,
few things were very interesting about that picture. First of all,
no.
you sit in there. Go ahead.
Suki is the one that wanted the coins beat out of her coop last time.
That girl looks like her, but okay. I thought that was her. I've seen the meme before, but yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've
Hold
seen
on,
it.
let
I
me bring
thought
it
that
back
was
up. Is
Suki.
that Suki?
I thought it was her.
Is that Suki?
It looked like her. Maybe I'm tripping.
You know?
Maybe somebody can help us in the chat. That looks like Suki to me, but it's
Yeah,
funny
maybe
as
somebody.
hell. It's funny as hell to me that the caption says life can be so unpredictable. That's I think the main problem I have with that picture. You're sitting there pregnant talking about how life is so unpredictable, as though a pregnancy just happens by happenstance. This is immaculate
Yeah,
conception. What are you talking about?
exactly.
Why are you not playing an active role in family planning?
Yes,
And I'm not just talking to her, I'm just talking about women generally,
yes,
men generally, people generally.
yes,
Can we normalize family planning so that, you know, we can structure what we want to bring this child into? You know what I'm
yes.
saying? It should be a very deliberate and, like you said, structured lifestyle, that we want to
Mm,
bring this child into. If you just kind of running around all willy-nilly and then oops, you look up one day and you're pregnant. Well, I guess life is unpredictable, but that's what we
yeah,
have to get away from. You know what I'm saying? We've
yeah,
been doing this for a couple generations now. How has it benefited us? How has it worked? You understand where I'm coming from? We
yeah.
have to start doing things that are more practical, things that make sense, and things that work. You know what I'm saying? And like
Exactly.
you said, when you start coming across these low energy people that don't fit into your plan, you need to just let them go. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
got this chick sitting up here with her legs spread open on social media, half naked. You know what I'm saying? And then the next picture said, "Oh, life can be so unpredictable." Well, I guess so. If that's how you
yeah,
comport yourself and that's how you move through life and you think that that's normal, then
yeah,
yeah, that's how you're going to end up. And I see her pregnant. I don't see the father there. Not to say that he's not around, but I didn't
mm,
see a dude in either of those pictures. And a dude clearly got her pregnant.
mm,
So this weird space that we in where, we got these babies and we want to show off and dance and, celebrate the baby and not celebrate having a nuclear family. I mean, what is that really? I'll never forget, man. I used to work for this company and we had
mm,
reps that worked overseas, and I was part of the management team for these reps that worked
mm.
overseas, right? And
Correct.
one of the reps overseas had a crush on one of the other managers, and we was trying to, we trying to play matchmaker, trying to get them to, talk. She lives in Guatemala, we live in Miami, you know what I'm saying? But surprisingly enough, a couple of them women actually came over here to meet some of those guys. That's a whole other
Yeah,
conversation. But in this
yeah,
particular conversation, I'll never forget it because it was the funniest thing to me.
yeah,
I'm asking her the qualifying questions because the dude, he's like, she's kind of all right, but I don't know. So I'm asking her the
yeah,
qualifying questions for my partner, right? God bless the dead. He passed away not too long ago, but God rest the dead,
yeah,
John Forte. Anyway, yeah, and she's, I'm like, okay, so how old are you? What's your what do you plan? What do you see yourself in 5 years, all this stuff? And I asked her, do you have any children? And that girl laughed in my face. Like she laughed. What do you mean, do I have any children? I'm not
mm,
married. It was the funniest thing because
yeah,
I know so many women, and at that time knew so many women who had never been married, who had never been an idea for marriage, that had a gang of children. And I'm talking to a
yeah,
woman who lives in a supposedly third world country, Guatemala, and she's like, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? Do I have children? I'm not married. Like, you idiot. Who has children that's not married?
Yeah.
Your culture. You understand what I'm saying? But here, hey, it's all willy-nilly, free for all, whatever. Just open your legs and let the nut fall where it does. You know what I'm saying? Like, really?
Yeah.
We gotta get off the plantation. This is
Yeah.
not a breeding ground. You know what I'm saying? People should have more
Mhm.
sophistication than that at this point. Than to,
Correct.
okay, maybe it happens here, there, whatever the case may be. Like my mom said back in the day, it was rare, but it happened. But it was here, there. But this is a culture. This is
Mhm.
the plan. I remember back in the days, this little girl I had a crush on. I was so brokenhearted because I
Yeah.
was trying to get with this girl for years, and she told me like, "Yo, yeah, I'm gonna keep on trying this dating thing, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna just look for me a baby daddy." I'm like, "Damn, yo, like talking like I'm not even here, like I'm not even an
Yeah.
option." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah.
And what's funny is she found her baby daddy, and word on the street is, she's still miserable and chasing that dude down for child support to this day. But that whole
Yeah.
mentality gotta change. Like, and this was a nice girl, you know what I'm saying? One of the upper echelon females talking like this. You feel me?
Yeah.
So damn, as a guy, you're like, wow, is this just the mentality generally? And I knew I was a good dude, but I was persona non grata as far as she was concerned. She was going to try dating for a little longer, and if it didn't work, she was just going to start looking for a baby daddy. And what's funny is she found exactly what she was looking for, and she's still miserable with it.
Yeah.
It's
And,
crazy. It's insanity.
and
I've
that's
said this a million times, and women
yeah.
love to agree with it until it comes to them being accountable with the dudes they rock with. If she's good enough to have a
Exactly.
baby with, she's good enough to marry. Period.
Exactly. And
You
that's
did?
a lot of women have to understand that a guy might be good for you,
Mm-hmm.
but and a guy might think you're good for him, but in
Mm-hmm.
actuality, you might be on two different wavelengths. So she needed to link up with a good guy that she fits good in their system. I
Right.
don't think she would have fit in your system. Probably would have messed you up in the long run
Probably
because you
would have.
probably would have got caught up in the infatuation part and then would have
Mm-hmm.
probably had a broken family by now. I think you found somebody that is wonderful and works perfectly in your system, and that's how
Absolutely.
it works out for. Because a lot of times we'll think that we'll be like, yeah, man, that girl is good or that guy is good. Yeah, they're good, but not good for you. They might be
Mm-hmm.
good for somebody else, but not good for you. Or just as
Of
you as a
course.
man going out there, yeah, you might be good, but not good for the woman that you're infatuated with, but you're good for another woman that's left out there. So a lot of times you get aligned up when your heart's good, you know what you want, you get aligned up, you see things, you study red flags, you avoid red flags, adapt to the green flags, you take that in. When you do that, then you end up lining up with who you are destined to be with. And it's such a beautiful sight when you do that. Now, when
Absolutely.
we just talked about what you just talked about, I'm so glad when you do that type of stuff because guess what?
Mm.
You bring up and align up to what I was just about to allude to, which is
Okay.
a lot of guys out here just dirty D'ing, right? So I'm not going to say the word, but
Mm.
DDing, right? Which is you just out here just mashing and bashing anything and then end up being in a situation where it's going to cost you. And women the
Right.
same way. But I want this episode to really focus on the men. Stop
Correct.
going out here just bashing and throwing your willy at anybody just to get a taste or just to get an arousal or to climax with. And this video right here is it's a warning. I'll put the
I
warning on because
uh
we're in a sensitive world right
mm,
now,
mm-hmm.
and one of the characters on the show says a word that now is very offensive. But when we was growing up, the word was funny as hell because
Okay.
we knew what they meant by it. But
Yeah.
back then, it was funny as hell. Now you're like, oh no, I don't really care for that word. But this is what DDing means, that you're so desperate to hit anybody. And then some of you guys, man, some of you guys have children from women that I would be like, I wouldn't use somebody else's D to hit that girl, because I'm like, no, seriously, and women pay attention to that. Women will look at that's another thing. Your resume, your D comes with a resume. When you're hitting women and women look at the other women you're hitting, if you want to get with the woman that's observing this, she'll be like, nah, I ain't even letting you smell it, much less trying to hit it. Because your whole resume is written the hell off. So I want to just show this video and then we can get back into it.
Yeah. I ain't done nothing. You had sex with Willa Maston. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She's 18 and legal. She's retarded. Doing this to me, I ain't done nothing. You had sex with Willa Maston.
Oh my God, bro! Listen, hold up, listen.
So he says, you had sex. They brought him in because he had sex with the woman, and I think that episode she got pregnant.
Yeah.
So he was like, "What you bringing in me for? I didn't rape her or nothing like that."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, the way Tibbs, right?
Yeah.
The way and that's the black guy in the heat of the night. The way he looked, and he was like, you hit such and such." He was like, dog, you went and hit her? Out of all the people, you went and hit her. And he over there like, well, she's over 18. And the other guy's like, but she's retarded. Like,
that's crazy,
back in the days we said retarded, but today the correct term is a little slow, a little functionally slow.
Like
you call remedial.
They change it every 6 months, so I don't even know what it is now.
Yeah, it's remedial. Now it's classified Down syndrome. So
mentally challenged.
Yes, exactly, mentally challenged. And you went out there and hit her. You hit this woman. He's shocked. Like, yo, you got to be the lowest of low to hit a mentally challenged woman at that age. But it just goes to show you that some guys are out here so desperate to climax and reach that level that they would go out there and hit any and anything, just as long as it's 2 legs and walking. And that's what a lot of women complain about guys. And guys, you guys have to have some decorum. You guys have to run around here and start acting like you're holding a 24 karat D. Like, think of your D as 24 carats. You don't let everybody hold gold. Like, when you go and ask for gold behind the counter, like, they not gonna let just any and anybody hold it. And some of them, they're at the precaution level. You got to give us, they'll be like, give me your car keys. Give me, your wallet or something as collateral before I let you hold it. That's how prestige you got to be to hold the gold. You got to do the same thing when it comes to your D. Let me tell you something. I practice D discipline all day. When I tell you I have women that throw themselves and their stuff at me 24/7. I'm a truck driver. Even when I get off the truck, the way the women gawk at me, some of these managers, the way they flirt with me, I have women that are at me 24/7. But guess what? 2 things. I know my self-worth. I don't engage in nothing like that. Also, I also know that I don't eat where I shit.
Right.
That's another thing. A lot of you guys run around here and try to hit women at your job, and this is where you get your source of income. And when anything goes left at that job, now you're actually working in a miserable environment. So not only is it jeopardizing your money, but it's also jeopardizing your mental health as well. Because now you got to come into area where at one time it was so healthy and so fun to be at. Now you dealt with somebody at your job, and now you have
Yeah.
to avoid them. Now, if they say something to you, it's coming off as a slick remark. It's not
Yeah.
coming off. It's coming off in a condescending way. It's not coming off as in encouraging way or in a fun way like it used to be. The whole mood
Mhm.
shift because of that. So you
True.
have to have some decorum and make sure that you walking and carrying yourself in an upbeat spirit. Man, like I say, you are the prize. Act like it. Act like when men start uplifting themselves and start having more self-esteem and not laying pipe to just any and anybody, you're going to see a shift in the woman because women
Right.
are desperately trying to get the attention of men. And if men are out here raising the bar and raising the standard to a level like this, then women have to come to that same level. They got to
Mhm.
meet us here. So we raise the bar and demand what these women want. I mean, demand what we want so these women can come to the level and say, you know what? I'm not going to be out here doing the ratchetness. I'm not going to be out here twerking and doing all the silliness. I'm not going to be out here posting pictures of me almost half naked on thing, or I'm putting moose knuckles or camel toe pictures up to entice men to come inside my DM. I'm not
Right.
doing that type of stuff. I'm not doing that type of behavior because the men out here get discouraged and they don't want that. So now they have to increase their level of consciousness up in order to get on the level of a man. And that's how you guys do it. We got to make better men. And that's what Manifestation does. It's making better men so that we don't go out here and do what we end up doing that will cripple and collapse us more than it ends up building us and also building up our community. Because when we start taking pride in ourselves, when we start uplifting ourselves, now we don't prey on our women, we don't prey on the children. Now we
Right.
have a healthy environment where it's not full of pedophiles and it's not full of domestic violence. We have
Right.
now healthy relationships within each other because as men, we have now breeded that environment. We demand that type of perception, and we demand that type of accountability from you as because we hold ourselves to that level. So
Mm.
when we bring ourselves up, we bring the whole community up as well. So we got to get back to that level where we're in it for the community building. So your D is community building because if I'm out here slaughtering all type of women that I shouldn't be slaughtering, it's gonna be a difference between me creating gremlins versus me creating scholars. So
Right.
what
Right.
is it that you want to do? You want to create gremlins or you want to create scholars? And that's not saying in the way the children look, it's saying in the way that the children act,
Right.
how they carry themselves. So
Yeah.
that's something that you have to take into consideration. A lot of you guys out here, I'm watching the women that y'all slaughtering, and I wouldn't even do that with my own stuff, much less I
Man.
want you guys to run out here and do that with your own stuff.
And they be talking, there's a whole culture out here of bashing your baby daddy
Yeah,
and bashing your baby mama, but we're gonna talk about both from the perspective of men. You know what I'm saying? With these women who are out here bashing their baby daddy, like you're talking about these type of women. Eventually you got to keep in mind, anytime you lay down with a woman, there's a chance that you could create a life. That's just the truth. That's just fact.
yeah, yeah,
So in that light, like you said, it behooves you
yeah,
to, you know, get down with quality women because you don't want to be
yeah,
creating life with, these other women that
yeah.
are substandard. You don't want to be creating life with them. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? And even though it doesn't happen every time, there's a chance it could happen every time. We go back to discipline. We go back to,
Yeah,
you say, discipline. You know, what type of, like you said, you see some guys, they have children with, women we wouldn't be seeing in Walmart with. You understand what I'm saying? Like, bruh. And these guys will tell you when they start dissing their baby moms, Oh, she ain't
Yes.
this, she ain't that, dot. Well, why you got a baby from her then, fool?
Yes.
On a very common sense level. Hell, not even.
Yes.
Some of these guys, 3, 4 babies from her, but she ain't this, she ain't that. She old garbage
Yes.
ass, this, that, and the. You got 4 babies from her. What does that say about you? What a 6 on level.
Exactly.
You understand where I'm coming from? And I see this. This again, this is a culture. This is cyclical. This has been happening for a couple generations now.
Hmm.
And we have to get out of this thing where we have this lack of understanding of how to properly vet a mate. And then once
Hmm.
we get involved with whoever said mate is, even, okay, we didn't know how to vet them to begin with. When we get involved with them, now we don't know how to treat them.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why our families are in shambles.
Exactly.
It's very clear why our families are in shambles, because we keep conducting ourselves in a way that creates a family that would be in shambles. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be honest with ourselves about that. Too many brothers out here, have with, some very low level women. You know what I'm saying? It can't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just has to stop. And let's be back to what we were talking about earlier. In no way, shape, or form am I even insinuating that this particular girl is anywhere near, where my wife is. My wife is amazing. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. Hmm.
just breaking down that point, I see they said in the comments that she wasn't on my level. Yeah, she wasn't. But this is
Hmm.
the thing. And what's funny is later on in life, oh, hey, big head, oh, now, I'm doing well, whatever. I grew into my looks, got my swag up, XYZ, blase, squaze. And no, now she want to be buddy. Now let's do lunch. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm straight, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You chose to brush me off at that time. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. And there was nothing wrong with me. But then we get back. The point that I was actually making there is how so often we have these women who will reject quality guys, good guys, thorough guys, straight and narrow guys. You know what I'm saying? And go towards the low hanging fruit, gravitate to the baby daddy that she had to go find because she wasn't doing well in relationships. If you're already not doing well in relationships,
Hmm.
why would you think that the solution will be to just go find a random dude to be your baby daddy? How does that make any sense? You understand what I'm saying? That's really and like you said, like the sister said in the comments, now she wasn't on my level. And now after knowing more things, like you say, the infatuation back then kind of takes over, whatever the case may be. But now after you know more things, like, oh my gosh, she did me the biggest favor. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That goes back to what I said about my mom giving me that game, getting these scallywags out of my space will
Hmm.
free up my time and my time and availability for a worthy woman, which is where I am now. I couldn't be happier. But
Yeah.
I really, really want to let brothers out there know, a lot of y'all are very good brothers, very good quality men, thorough,
Yes.
strong-minded, doing well, in your career, so forth and so on. And you'll be out here, trying to convince, somebody who either isn't in your system, like Aunt said, or
Hmm.
somebody who won't fit in your system, like Aunt said, or somebody who's just a straight up knucklehead,
Yeah.
that you're this wonderful person. Don't
Hmm.
waste your time, man. When I really got dangerous out here and I was really a problem, when I lost my fear of loss.
Yes.
I had no fear of loss dating. Like, hey, you cool with it, we can roll. If not, you can stroll. Let the doorknob hit you with a good Lord split you. We ain't got to do none of this. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
when you can tell fine women that, when you can tell beautiful women that and not blink, things
Yeah.
change. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's a respect thing. You have to respect yourself. You have to value your seed. Like you said, you got to value your D. You can't just be giving it to any and everybody because that gets you in
Exactly.
trouble. Look at Tristan Thompson. You understand
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And other cats
Yeah.
like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to have all, you know what I mean? All of those
Yeah,
problems, whatever the case may be. Like, why? When you can
correct.
just exercise a little self-control and you can have a much better outcome. You like we said about the sister in the picture, you know,
Yeah,
same thing for her. You exercise a little self-control. Life doesn't have to be, unpredictable. You can
correct.
very much predict where your life is going if you just be a little more disciplined and you make sound, stern choices. That's
Correct.
how I see it anyway.
Definitely.
Well, I know you got something.
And
You looking at something.
when you yeah, when you definitely make sound choices, you come into the realms of operating um, in a way that is very productive for you, not only for yourself, but also in your family. A lot of times we have a lot of guys that's in relationships. They're either in relationships or they're married. And we want to address the dirty macking. That's what we call dirty macking. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the level of where you are disrespecting not only yourself, but you're disrespecting your mate in the
Yeah.
process. Um, a lot of times people dirty Mac. There's different variations for the Mac, but a lot of times a man does it because, and that could be done through a various other reasons, right? It could be that he didn't go to school to make enough money, and
Yeah.
competition with other people is making him feel vulnerable in that way. So if he doesn't feel like a man in his house and his woman is, like, yo, we got to do something with these bills and all this, then you're
Yeah.
going out there and you might find a woman that you want to carry that masculinity towards, meaning that she now sees you as a masculine man, and you're feeling that neglect inside of your own home, but you're getting it from an outside home, but you had now put yourself in a predicament to get caught up into shit that you don't need to get caught up with. Also,
Right.
if you're a man that isn't out here making no money, or you out here struggling with yourself and trying to find yourself, and in the process you get a woman that ends up making more money than you, now you don't even feel like a man, and the only thing that you can go out there is exude your male genitals to make you feel like a man, to make you feel conquered in that way. And
It's a quick fix.
um,
Yeah.
I, I want to show this one picture that shows you both variations of who I'm talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
we have um, we have the father from BMF. A lot of y'all watch BMF. We have the father from BMF, and he, doesn't feel like he's the man of the household because BMF, Big Meech, and his brother is out here running the drug game, and they're making him look like nothing because he's a basic worker who is, generally contracted and also does work on the side, but it's not enough to create and establish the bills and the lifestyle that he wants to create for his family. It's just basically enough to live paycheck to paycheck or day by day. And he doesn't feel like he's a man of the house. And then also he had a scene where his wife, which is Big Meech's mom's, who tells him that she will submit to a man when she feels like he is worthy to submit to. So
Yeah.
hearing that from, your wife, who is your wife, this isn't somebody that is a girlfriend who's saying that to you. This is a wife saying that to you, saying that she doesn't want to submit because you're not leading the way that she wants you to lead. And now he ends up, fixing this lady's house. And next thing you know, one thing led to another, and he stepped out on his wife. And then he went back to go break it off. And this was the moment that she had touched him on his back, and it sent him into a flashback of the first time they were having sex. And then they end up having sex again because this woman, like a lot of women, and there's a woman that, we have mutual friends with, or I could say we was on a panel with together, and she made a post, and she's cool with Fee, and she's cool with some other women that I'm cool with, but
Yeah.
she made a post saying that, she needs to start dating back married men because they
Mm.
treat her better. And I know a lot of people will sit back and say, "Oh, she's joking," or whatever the case may be.
Nah,
She's not joking. These are
you're not
these
joking.
these aren't games. This is real situations, and
Mhm.
it's kind of crazy because nobody held her accountable. You know what I mean? And it's also kind of crazy because people around her are married. So,
Mhm.
where's your loyalty? Do you fall? Can I leave you around my man? Like, is that what
Mm.
women have to start saying around you now? You know what I
Mm.
mean? So
Pull up now.
yeah, it's very tricky about how that stuff start to kick in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And now if your man is on her page, do now he try to slip some stuff in to see where you shaking, to see how the leaves are falling. If it falls in his court, does it
Uh-huh.
blow, the wind blow him that way?
Uh-huh.
That's very messy. And that's the same thing with this woman. She
Yeah.
knew that he was a married man, and
Uh-huh.
she basically went in hard on him. Now, I'm not going to blame her totally because he's obligated to his wife. He's
Right.
not obligated to her. He made a
Right.
commitment to his wife. You know what I'm saying? So the temptation sucked him in, and he went again at it a second time. Now, the picture above is a very famous movie that everybody pretty much have watched
Mhm.
for the majority part, which is Baby Boy. Baby
Yeah.
Boy is Tyrese, who was a young man who was living in his mom's house, basically just eating off her food and not really doing the manly responsibilities at his age, just living and mooching off his mother. And his mother actually coddled him into that predicament or into
Mhm.
that lifestyle. And it ends up crippling him. And that's another thing that a lot of you men out here that are mama's boys, y'all got to be careful about being mother's boys. And there's a thin line between loving your mom and letting your mom have control of you, where you end up being a mama's boy. Because
Real
once you
talk.
be a mama's boy, that's when you get coddled. And when you get coddled by your mother, she controls you because now her whole life she never gave you the tools for you to be out there to be successful, to be dominant, to be a leader. She now sat back and coddled you where she has to do everything for you. This is when the men, you run across these mama boys are the men that ask their mama, "Hey mama, you got my social security. Hey mama,
Mhm.
how do I lost something? How do I get this back? Mama, how do I apply for my driver's license?"
Yeah.
And you're a grown man. This is very sad because I'm seeing men that are grown men that are going through this in the current stages. So you have baby boy Tyrese who got coddled. He ended up getting with his girl, and his girl had a nice little job. She had her own place. She bought her own place, taking care of it. So she was doing the complete opposite of what Tyrese should have been doing in the movie, right?
Mhm.
And he was out there taking her car and hustling and doing the little things and selling clothes and doing all that, which worked out a little good for him for a short period of time. But he wasn't on his square, and he ended up having a child by her, and he wasn't being the best father to his child because he wasn't sitting back and taking care and watching his child like that. And he also wasn't providing on the financial level that he needed for his child like that. So it created a lot of problems and a lot of issues. And then when he ended up seeing the girl that he went to pick up his girl one time, and the co-worker, his girl's co-worker, saw him start throwing some eyes at him, and eventually gave him the number, and he fall
Mhm.
victim to it by going to the girl's house. Now, he didn't go through with the whole sexual act of intercourse, but he did get some head. He got a couple of head, and then he went and said something to her, and it just broke the whole mood off. And
Mm.
then he says to her, "Oh, I can't do this. I'm in love with my girl." And she says to him one question that made him look stupid: "If you in love with your girl, then why the hell you right here with me?"
That's
And
real.
he couldn't reply to it. He had to pack his stuff up and leave. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And we don't want men to get to this level. This is called dirty macking. This is when you're engaged with somebody and you're out there doing God knows what with somebody else that your mate don't even know because they so caught up in you loving you and being faithful to you while you're out
Mm.
there dipping and diving. And dirty
Right.
macking is never going to be good in the long run, because this a lot of times, and when we talk about community, damaging the community, this is how, when you're sharing diseases come back from one person to the next person. And this is how diseases get transmitted. Also, you can go out there and have a child, whether you're a married man and having side children. We've seen that coming back from back in the days where they had outside children and outside families,
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
still do.
you know, yeah, and still do. And then, it's so many other variations where you have these people coming to their jobs. This woman could easily pick up a gun and go shoot his wife. This woman could easily pick up the gun and shoot Tyrese. You know what I mean? And these
Yeah.
are the domestic suicides or violence that we occur because you play with people's emotions, you play with their feelings, and it never
Right.
goes the right way. So dirty macking is something that, fellas, you got to get out of that dirty macking stage. Listen, if you're vibing with somebody, vibe with somebody. If you're not vibing with somebody and you're single, then you out here doing your thing. I have no problem with that, because you're not obligated to nobody. You're not lying to anybody. But this dirty macking
Right.
that y'all doing, y'all got to cut that out.
Mhm.
Get out of the realms of dirty macking, because all it does is hurt people, and it can end up being so detrimental for somebody in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, these people, I mean, at the end of the day, these people are infidels, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's no nice way to say it. These people are
Yeah.
infidels. And, you know, you can't trust an infidel at the end of the
Yeah.
day. By definition, this person is
Yes.
crooked, this person is deceitful, duplicitous, what have you. That is who they are
Yes.
at their core.
Exactly.
So there's no reason to have any type of relationship that is meaningful with such individuals. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's just how that goes. What's going on, Bobby Drake?
What they do? What
What's
they do,
pop?
Bobby?
Are we
Oh, he
on the
got his mic.
air?
Yes,
What's
man.
cracking?
You late, dog. Black people, dog. Black people always late.
The
Party to the
damn
party.
color.
Yeah, man.
Damn
I had a,
Golly.
color.
Negroes,
I had
dog.
a previous obligation. Uh, no promises to keep, miles to go before I sleep, but I heard you on the way back
Yeah,
cooking with
we
the
cooking,
sesame
man.
oil and the walkie. I heard the flames sizzling and everything. That
Yeah.
classic Benny kind of sound in the background.
Mhm.
Y'all will definitely hold it down.
That's what it is, man. But
Definitely.
just to add that the last piece in on that last thing you were saying, and a lot
Yeah.
of guys and brothers get frustrated with me when I say this, but I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? The truth is the only thing I care about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of guys, a lot of us brothers are under this false notion that we are not capable of being faithful to one woman and
Yeah.
not cheating. That is just, I mean, there is no bullshit like that bullshit. Like, bro,
Yeah.
there's not written anywhere. There is no law that says that. I know plenty of brothers who practice this. You know what I'm saying? And then on the flip side of it, you have the women, making this excuse. Well, this
Yeah.
person is a man, and a man is that's what a man gonna do. All men are dogs, all men cheat, this, that, and the third. And it's like, bro, you a sister put up a post last week asking this very, very pertinent question in my view. It's like, how can well actually a brother posted this, a sister reposted it. Brother was like, how is it that women can say to us that we are supposed to be monogamous, right? And then turn right around in the same breath and say that we're going to cheat because we're men and all men are dogs. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So we at a very basic level, the accountability, it has to be for real. We can't go around saying that because there's real trauma that people experience from this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing comes with women, but right now we're talking about us this week, right? What kind of
Mhm.
man are you? Are you an infidel? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because that's what you're saying. When you buy into that, hey, you know, I'm a man, and I put this post up a while ago about men and cheating and so forth and so on, or whatever. And a lot of brothers was like on this, well, you know, I can't be expected to be with only one woman because I'm a man, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And it's like, yo, if that's the case, then say that.
Yeah.
You know, say that. Ask for a polyamorous relationship where, okay,
Yeah.
I'm a man, I'm a cheat, and I'm going to have this, 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 this. And some women are cool with that. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Some women are cool with that. But it's the deceptive part, you know, because I always point this out. You know, people, cheating is not something that happens by accident. You have to meticulously plan and plot and, you know, set up times where you could talk, set up times where you can meet, set up times where you can bang. You got to set up all these different times. It's a very elaborate type of scheme. You understand what I'm saying? And when you have someone who is planning these elaborate schemes while they're supposed to be in a monogamous relationship with you, that says a lot about that person. There are
Yeah.
levels and layers. You know what I'm saying? This is not just a one-off, oh, you tripped and you fell in it. Nah, it don't work like that. You gotta do a lot. It's a lot of work you gotta do to facilitate cheating. You understand where I'm coming from? And there's real psychological and emotional damage that it does, you know, to women that are out here when you do them like that. It's not cool. It's not right. It's not acceptable. That's just the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And if you really got it like that, and if you really, oh, I'm a man, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm just gonna have different women, okay, we'll put it out there. You know what I'm saying? And if there are women that are cool with that and they co-sign it or whatever the case may be, then that is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? But the deception where you're lying about the shit, you know what I'm saying? And you creeping and you know, got all these little, you know, lies that you got to tell to support the other lies. That ain't cool, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't look good on us, generally speaking, especially when you go out here and you make this blanket statement. Oh, well, you know, all men, you don't speak for me. You understand what I'm saying? You don't speak for other brothers who, you know, have no problem with, like we said before, just exercising some self-discipline and, you know, not being out here all willy-nilly in these streets. You don't speak for all of us. So you can't say that. And women who I think it's a part of the trauma to make that excuse. Oh, he a man, and you know that's just what men do. Da 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 da. You understand what I'm saying? I think that's a part of the excuse and part of also not having standards. We're talking about standards today. You know what I'm saying? In a very real way. You feel me? And I feel like this because some women they really don't trip about it, you know, like that or whatever. And you know, they kind of expect you to do, you know, this or that or whatever the case may be. Not really tripping so much on them, but the ones where you're lying to her every day, you're the only one for me. I would never da 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 whatever. And you got females literally just all over the place, all willy nilly. You know, the sad part about that is that not if, but when it all comes crashing down, whatever y'all had ain't never gonna be the same again. One, you know, and then if you had a sound, solid family structure, now that's been destroyed. You know, so those are the two main things that I want people to take away from this, guys who are out there who are dirty macking, like you say, you know, and you know, just guys who generally don't have any respect for the relationship that they're in. Be aware of the consequences that come from these things on a broad scale. You're talking about, you know, like I think Jay-Z even alluded to this in one of his songs. You know, he got caught up and he cheated or whatever the case may be, and he reeled himself back in, and he's like, you know, he didn't want Blue Ivy, who was his kid, you know, hearing that, damn, this is the reason their family was destroyed. I thought that was real deep. That's grown man shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is messing, you know, it's messing with her. It's wrong, you know, da 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 da. I apologize for that. I feel a way about that too. But even above and beyond that, there's another layer that a lot of us never even address, where this is affecting your kids and your family structure. You dig? That's That's something we really gotta sink our teeth into right there, because it's
Oh,
real and
definitely,
it happened. And
definitely.
that trauma that a lot of these women feel from that infidelity, or those infidelities where they've experienced this with multiple men, coupled with
Yeah,
other things, you know, it creates these bitter, angry women, that go into these social media spaces and just want to, go bees and disease to everybody and just try to sabotage everybody's life because they're miserable. You feel me? That
correct.
forms that behavior. So if we don't like that behavior, we want to change that behavior. In part, I'm not saying it's all on us, or if that it's our fault per se, but in part, comporting ourselves in a more disciplined manner when we start talking about the type of women we deal with and the way that we deal with them will be a great help.
Definitely, definitely. You want to say something about that, Bobby?
No, I'm just gonna say because Major done hit a whole lot of points right on down the line, but I will say this: when we're talking about manhood and masculinity, I'm just gonna keep it a rack and a stack. Cheating is, and again, because I do want to specify that I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything or ease anything down or give anything a chase or whatever, but there is a difference between cheating and active infidelity and an ongoing affair. If there's a momentary lapse of weakness, and again, this isn't to excuse anybody because the choice is the choice that happened. Like I always tell you, you're in control of yourself. You're responsible for yourself. So even if you were under duress, whatever, you still made the decision. Hell, you drink and you go and crash somebody. You can't blame the alcohol. You should have known better. You should have known not to drink under the influence and get impaired and get smashed up like that. So that's still on you, no matter what. But there's a difference between having a momentary lapse and something occurs and making an ongoing repeat performance where now you, like you talked about, you facilitate the whole system. You got codes to communicate with each other. You set up times, whatever. It's a significant difference. It
Yes,
might not mean to the person who is being having their relationship betrayed because of it, but there is a difference. So you
definitely.
missing get caught kissing someone or momentary lapse of weakness, and you mess up and you get back on the straight and narrow. There might be
Mm,
some redemption. If you're making an active case of going down there, that's something completely different. But as
I
far as
agree.
cheating,
Mm,
continuous case of doing this on a routine basis and also looking for these moments, not they fall into your lap and you made a bad choice, whatever, but the conscious act of doing this. Cheating and having affairs, that is one of the least masculine, manly things that you can do as a man.
agreed.
Now,
Agreed.
I'm not speaking for myself because that's not how I get down. I'm not going to go ahead and necessarily subject people to my beliefs and how I feel about certain things. Personally, I think, women, God bless them, one is a handful enough. I don't know why you want to go ahead and deal with two of those creatures or more simultaneously. You got free time on your hands. If I had that amount of mental energy and space to dedicate to multiple women, that means I personally need to go and start me some businesses because I got a whole lot of brain power that needs to be making me some paper. But again, that's
Mm,
me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put it on nobody else. But I believe it was, and I can never remember because I always want to quote this. I always want to share the clip. But there was one stand-up special where he put it masterfully. And that was Brother Cat Williams. Shout out to our brother. And he was
mm,
speaking about cheating, and he said, and I'm gonna botch it, and again, because I haven't seen it in a long time, but he said, "Oh, if you really a pimp, if you really about that." If you really got that
Hmm.
game, if you really that it dude, you got that mouthpiece, you got that game, you talk, the women listen, you have the ability to go ahead and convince women to come home with you and to if you got it like that, you got that ism.
Yeah.
mm,
If you really about that, you don't need to lie.
mm.
Because
That's what I
cheating is
said.
lying. Cheating is lying. It's deception.
That's
It's
what I
not
said.
owning.
Yeah.
It's not owning where you at right now. If you really about that life, if you on the whole polygyny vibe, or you just, you like having one woman, but you want to occasionally dabble in more than one. You want to go ahead and toss some variety up in the rotation. If that's your thing, and you really got it like that, then as
Say
a
it.
man, you be able to be comfortable and confident enough to go to your woman and say, look, and this should happen before y'all even get together. That's the next level. That's when you start to get into the Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan level of the game.
Yeah.
You get the woman right then and there. Y'all talking and say, look, baby, I'm feeling you. I really enjoy you. I like your company. I don't want you to be my main, but I'm gonna be honest with you, be straight with you. I'm not a man that's interested in just being with one woman. I primarily want to be with you, but sometimes weekend might come up, special event. I might want to go ahead and get with something else.
Real
Now,
talk.
I understand that might not be for you. If you with it, then let's bounce. I'll keep it 100 with you. I won't lie about anything. I'll put everything on the table.
Hmm.
I'll tell you as much as you want to know, and whatever you don't want to know, we can just leave it be. But this is where I am. If you with it, let's go. If not, all the best to you.
There you go.
I've known dudes who are
Hmm.
at that level of the game.
Hmm.
And I've literally been out with dudes. We out at some event someplace, and I've
Hmm.
had dudes go ahead and they kept it honest from the jump. They were communicating. As soon as they saw, okay, this is something I'd like to do, they let her know this is the catch, this is the caveat, how you feel about it. And I've seen
Hmm.
dudes respectfully get turned down. Of course, I've seen some of them get, shot down like you
Of course.
nasty. Yeah, I got my. But I've seen some women, and they responded saying, "Sorry, I don't get down on that. That's not my thing." But because they saw that he was straight up, there was no guile, there was no deception. Because they
Respect.
saw that this was a trustworthy, respectful, honorable dude, they
Hmm.
said, "You know what? I got a homegirl that she's into that, and I think you'd be a really good match. I don't know why she does it, but I think you'd be good
It is.
together."
It is.
And broke right out. You pass it to the homegirl. She's with the program. Give the game to her like you did to me. I think you might have something right there.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
Now,
it's
being honest about that kind of stuff doesn't mean that you're gonna get it every time. It doesn't mean you have a high success rate. But
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is you'll always have your respect. Can
Always.
no woman ever come and say you lied to me, you deceit, you a low down dog? All they can
Hmm.
do is say, you know what? You told me what it was and kept it 100 with me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women who, in some cases, will go ahead and give a dude the benefit of the doubt just on the strength of the fact that she doesn't like it per se, but she
Yeah.
likes him enough and she trusts him. She sees that this isn't something that's going to necessarily be reckless or whatever. He's about his business. He has his structure in place. I heard y'all talking about that earlier.
Hmm.
Because he's got that going on, she's willing to trust it and at least take it for a test drive and see if this is something that she can really get with.
Real talk.
But when you
yeah.
guys are lying and sneaking and be deceiving, you a
Stop.
grown ass man.
Yeah.
So
And look,
so
You a
I'm
just
gonna keep
grown
it a
ass
buck.
man. You ain't got no
so just
curfew. You don't have any
so
mommy or daddy checking on you. What you got to lie and tiptoe? If that's how you get down, that's how you get down. Own that.
That's
What you
it.
so
lying for?
so when you
Man
keep it
up.
100, when you keep it 100, you can get this, right?
Yeah. Yes, you
Hey,
can. Of course. Look, and let me tell you this too, man. That's the same while we're at it, just to give y'all
more
some
power to him. That's not my get down, but more power to him.
right,
Salute.
right. While we're at it, just to give y'all some more game, fellas out there. Because
Yeah.
I used to be one of those guys who was hella gamed up. Let me just put it that way.
Mhm.
And it's the same philosophy behind when you meet a female and you just want to hit it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just tell her,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm not really trying to have a relationship with you like that. But I like what I'm seeing, whatever, however you phrase it. I'm not gonna go into how I phrase these things. But just put it on the
Game is
table.
so so.
If you just want that ass, just say I just want to hit that ass. Say it politely, but just keep it about. And you be surprised how many females will gladly cooperate, give you the
Yeah.
digits, give you the homegirl digits. When you put it out there like that, when you're that honest, then they start coming at you by the tools. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm here with my homegirl tonight, and she's da da da. And before you know it, you done talk yourself into a threesome. You don't even realize it.
Yeah.
As much
It's
as dudes talk about
It's
women can't handle the truth, the reality is, first off, a lot of these dudes don't even put women to the test to see whether that's true or not. And
yeah,
also, for a lot of women, they already believe the worst about men, anyways, but they
right,
still dealing with it. So
exactly.
exactly.
if a woman really believes that all men treat that men are dogs, that men aren't faithful anyways, but she's still dealing with men, that already means that to some extent she's already accepted it.
Yeah.
So now at
Exactly.
this point, and I don't believe that that's true at all, but in her experience, based on what she's dealt with, that could be the case. So for her, with all the men
Mm,
she knows,
yeah.
all men she, but if she still deal with men, then at that point, that means that she is willing or might be willing to put up with you, so long as there's enough benefits to being with you. Number one,
There you go.
and number two, you do not keep her in the dark unless she requests that.
Right. And
You
some
don't go
will
selling
request.
her this fake
Yeah.
image about you. She thinks that you this such and such dude. You so wonderful, and truth be told, you're nothing but a piece of shit.
Yeah.
See, that's what's
Exactly.
going to get a woman to go ahead and raise Cain.
Exactly.
If
And
you a man that actually desires peace,
Yeah.
then you give her the game. You don't go ahead and do things that's going to complicate it. Lying is never going to go ahead and get you what you want. That's always going to set you back. That ain't worth
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So you you gotta yeah, and the other side of that is that um you're friends with you are friends with a guy that is lying like that. And a lot of times if you got dirty macking, there's dirty macking that occurs within your own homies, right? And your own
Yeah.
homies, they're quick to plot and want to slaughter your girl behind your back. You know, when you have a lot of people around you that's deceptive like that, you don't even know if they're being deceptive
True.
to your own home
Mhm.
as well. And we just
True.
talked about, I was talking about that earlier about how the woman said that she wants to start back dating married men because they act right. And this video right here is going to show them exactly what I was talking about, right? So let's see the video real quick.
Hey, who's ready to have a baby? That would be me. Please, get this thing out of me. We actually have a new system that will relieve your pain while in labor by transferring the pain to the father, if you're up for that. Oh. Yeah, okay, fine. Just get it over with. Okay, we'll start off with 20% going to the father then. Okay, that's a little better. Whew. Wow, I'm not feeling anything. Turn it up to 40, Doc. Okay, 140. Wow, I like this system. I don't feel anything. Oh, excuse me. Hey, what's up, man? Dude, I feel like I'm passing a kidney stone the size of a watermelon right now. Dude, you need to get that checked. Turn it up to 60, Doc. Oh, it's getting worse! Oh, dude, it's getting what? Turn it to 100, Doc.
Yo,
Oh
I
my
see that card.
God.
That's the funniest thing
Oh,
I've seen all year, hands down, man.
oh son.
so
Son.
that's what
Oh
that's what
man.
dirty mac can lead to. Your best friend, your homeboy. You're having a baby. You think you're having a baby, and they just said, "Hey, we're going to transfer all the energy to the child's father." And he's like, "Yo, this is cool." And his best friend is being toe up, and then he realized, like, "Oh shit, the baby father is my fucking best friend."
Oh man.
And he's like, "Yo, crank that shit all the way up." So you have
You got
men
150 that?
around.
You got 150?
Yeah, you have
Great.
men that are around you that's plotting on your girl, and it's sad that you have a woman that will indulge in that as well,
Yeah.
especially with your best friend. And you have a lot of situations like that. It's a sad situation to be in, but you got to know who you're around, one, and also, guys, you got to have stop dirty macking. You got to have loyalty to your homeboy. You wouldn't want somebody to jam up your wife. Don't do that to your homeboy's wife. That is
Mhm.
such a messy situation to be in, but it's a common situation
It
for a lot of
is.
households out here. So I just
You know,
wanted
it's
to
funny that you
highlight that.
mentioned that.
Stop the dirty macking. Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I actually, just today, in fact, I wasn't looking for it on purpose. I was trying to find something else, and I stumbled on it. And it was a YouTube short of brother Earl Simmons, DMX, rest in peace, X.
Mm,
And I think he
yes.
was on the Breakfast Club or something, one of the interviews, and he was talking about how he doesn't go ahead and deal with women that I forgot what exactly the question was, but basically he said, he doesn't. It doesn't matter if they were even just a jump off, whatever. He does
Real
not
talk.
deal with women that his partners, his homies, his dudes have dealt with in any capacity, even if it was a one night thing, picked up the club, never saw again. He doesn't do it, and he said because
Yes.
That's my man. And the truth is, you never really know how somebody feels about someone that they've been with, because men try to put up a front and you be like, hey, you love her, whatever. Man, nah, she just this, whatever. And third,
Mhm.
like you get with her, and then he finds out like you slept with her, bro.
Mhm.
And the whole time you had feelings, whatever, he never said it. So it's like, you know what? There's no need to do this. Too many women out there. And he said he's had broads that have actually laid up with his dudes, groupies, trying to work their way up to him, hoping that she
Right.
bounced around the creek. Eventually, she's gonna get the DMX, and he was like, "Babe, you took the route. You took the wrong route to get to me. You
Mm.
took the wrong Google Maps entry to try to get to me. That's the wrong way to go about doing that. 'Cause I'm not interested."
But that
But when
goes
you
back to having dudes with standards. You know what I'm
principles,
saying?
principles,
Principles,
Yeah.
and that's why
Yeah.
alpha men, have principles, standards, and laws. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to do a whole show on man
right?
laws, bro, because that's a heavy man law that a lot of dudes they break because they don't have no integrity. You feel
Yeah.
me?
And the thing about it is now, just because you move with principle and integrity, that doesn't mean that nobody's going to try your woman. They're not going to try to insert
Right.
themselves in your household.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But when you talk about playing the odds, rolling the dice, if you want to drastically increase your odds of something foul happening in your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
then be a dude that does foul things, because there's no honor among thieves.
Right.
And if
Mm.
Exactly.
you a scoundrel yourself, you're gonna be keeping company with scoundrels. So it's all said and good until dude, for whatever reason, decides, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and take aim, set sights on your lady now,
Mm-hmm.
because you show
Exactly.
yourself to be this kind of dude. All's fair in love and war. You show
Mm-hmm.
them that this is how you get down. That's also gonna create a lack of respect for your household, because he sees how you move. He sees how grimy you do her behind her back.
Right.
What reason and justification does he really have to go ahead and respect your household? It don't work like that.
Agreed.
People might think
And
it should,
mhm,
but when you're in that mindset, the brain can't separate between this. And they just know, hey, he out here cutting up. So when the cat's away, all this money's gonna play.
right,
Mm.
right. And additionally, the having the wherewithal to choose a woman that is a principled woman with
That's
dignity and
key.
integrity is highly
Major.
unlikely with a cat that's
That,
moving like that. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
key.
Because again, the type of people who will gravitate to you, water seeks its own level. You're going to attract what your
Always.
energy puts out. So it's highly unlikely that you're going to attract a woman who is quality enough to not do you like that if you out there moving like that. And if you surround yourself with cats that move like that. This goes back to the whole show where we were talking about energy. You understand what I'm saying? And the type of energy that people exude. People don't understand energy and chemistry, and that it is a real thing. A lot of
Yeah.
times when something's happening to you, you're going through some type of trauma, you got some type of low in your life, man. If you can just rewind that tape, you know what I'm saying? If you're savvy enough, you can draw a direct parallel to what it was that you did, the energy that you put out, that's causing you to have this acute turmoil and disaster. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not to say that, sometimes bad things don't just happen, but a lot of times it's because of the energy that you are continually putting out there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It just makes sense.
It it's
We
difficult
got
to
to start
do.
moving more faction. Mm,
It's a hard thing to do. It's not easy at all. Sometimes it's really gonna, bring some discomfort to you. One of the most
mm-hmm,
valuable things you can do as a person is get to a point where no matter what happens to you in life, you
mm,
make it a habit. You make it a built-in reflex where you by default look at yourself first
reflect.
and ask
Mm-hmm,
yourself, what, if anything, what role, if any role did I play in this? Was there a decision I made? Was there something I said? Was it the way I was moving? Who, what,
right,
when, where, why, how? All those questions. Genuinely take a look at yourself and see, was there anything I did? Could I have done anything different? Anything, no matter how small it is, that could
real
have
talk.
possibly potentially changed the outcome of whatever happened to me? Or was there anything I could have done that could have made, if it's a positive situation, where I could have made this happen sooner? Or I could have got a
Right,
better outcome?
right.
Mm.
Now, there's definitely an extreme that you can take, that where you go too far, where you start to blame yourself for everything. You don't want to get to
Yeah,
that point. But if you can get in a healthy balance where you always check running by yourself first, did I have anything to do with this? No? Okay, cool. So then we go ahead and assign the blame to where it belongs. But if there's one thing, even if it's just 1%, you only had a 1% involvement in whatever happened. If you can just go ahead and change that,
Right.
that means there's a chance it doesn't have to happen. If
Real
there's a
talk.
100% chance of it going down, then I mean, there's nothing that you can do. But if there's a 1% chance that you could do something different, then you might luck out and you get a 1 out of 100 day. And the one day this is supposed to go down, you're able to avoid it. But get in that habit where you learn to do that. And in some cases, even take responsibility. There's
Mm-hmm.
a saying that I've come to really appreciate and really embrace now in my maturity now, where it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Uh-huh.
So
Mm.
learn to take
Ah,
ownership.
I
Other
like that.
people screwed up around you. Other people jacking up. You didn't do it. It's not your mess, but it's not my mess. It's not my problem, but it's my responsibility. I'm gonna take ownership of that, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and I'm gonna take it upon myself to go ahead and be the person that makes a difference. And that right there can take you to the next level in your career. You got a manager, supervisor that sees that you take ownership anytime things are going down. Everyone's running
Yes.
like a chicken with their head cut off, or everyone's, ducking, dodging. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And this person steps up. They just go ahead and make stuff. Everyone else is talking about the mess. You clean it up and solve the problem.
Yeah.
Problem solve always first in line, typically for benefits. You
Yes,
get
sir.
the glory. You get to be the hero. You get to be the person who saves the day. You become known as the person that Mr. Gets stuff done, Mr. Handles business, whatever. You get respect among your peers. You might get some hate too, but you're going to get respect,
You
usually
get
from the people
praise.
who it actually matters from. You
Mm-hmm.
do that in your family, your wife, your kids, your whoever's around you, your friends, whatever. They come to see you as someone that's dependable, they can rely on. That boosts your stock with them. You become a source for wisdom, for guidance. There's a problem solved. They know that you that dude in your
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood. There's virtually no place where you apply that mindset and thinking to where you don't benefit, but also the people around you benefit. In other words, you become a valuable person. So now
Yeah.
you're one of those people where, God forbid, if you should go away today or now, everyone has a story, a testimony. Man, he changed my life. He touched my heart. He really did this big thing for me. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for him. You
Mm-hmm.
become that person where everyone has that love for you. They respect you. They appreciate you because you made that difference in their life. All
Right.
because you were the person that didn't duck from responsibility. You didn't run from it. You said, "Hey, if it's going down, get at me first. I'm the
That's real
first
good.
line of defense. It starts with
Right.
me."
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Exactly.
That's grown man
Um,
talk. Grown
yeah,
man talk.
definitely. Man, we about to get up out of here, but before we get up out of here, I want to show two videos and then we can get to the queen check real quick.
Yeah.
Um, I noticed that a lot of men, and I want men to stop saying this. I want men to stop getting on panels and stop getting in these spaces on social media and telling women shut the fuck up. Like every
Mm.
time you talk about what do you want in a woman, constant guys are saying, I want women to shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. There
Wow.
is a level of respect and peace that
Yeah.
comes with that. And it's like, you don't have to tell a woman to shut the fuck up because now you're minimizing her voice. And
Right.
it might be some concerns of some accountability that you need to take up. And she's trying to address it to you. And she's been addressing it to you for multiple times. And you feel it's nagging, but it's really things that you're supposed to be doing that you're dragging your feet on. So I want
Mm.
people to understand there's a difference between a man saying, look, I want a woman that creates peace versus a man that's saying, I just want women to just shut the fuck up. Because when you tell somebody to shut the fuck up, you're not really going into details of why they need to shut the fuck up. You just want them to clearly just shut the fuck up. Um, but there's
Yeah.
men out here that really wants peace. They want women that aren't full of drama. They want women that are happy, meaning that if you're happy with yourself, you're not going to be out here causing and creating a turmoil of just mischievous bullcrap and creating conversations and dialogues and fights because you're not happy with yourself. So there's a thin line between the two, and I want men to understand, analyze what part of that line is your woman really falling under and deal with it in a correct way and not under the broad umbrella of shut the fuck up. And I just want to show you this video that basically breaks that stuff down.
I'm not saying you shouldn't want a relationship. I'm not saying you shouldn't want companionship at all. But what I am saying is, if you want it so badly to the degree where maybe you're getting frustrated, maybe you're getting depressed, maybe you're getting angry, I then ask the question, why do you want it so badly? And can you start being to yourself the love, the happiness, the contentment, the peace, the joy? Can you be that to yourself? So that when you do come across the right person, you're bringing that joy, you're bringing that happiness, instead of making the person you date the de facto creator of your happiness. I can tell you, if you outsource your happiness to someone else and you demand that they do certain things to keep you happy, you will never have a day of true happiness because you have outsourced what was yours to create.
All right.
Heavy,
So,
heavy.
ba-
Love it.
yes, basically,
Brother
I'm
speaking
getting my
life.
hey,
break.
yeah, you
I'm just getting my
definitely
drink.
creating peace because now when you do
Mhm.
that, you establish a healthy home. And that's what we've been talking about earlier about how back in the days we had healthy homes, we had structured homes, we had a solidified foundation to build
Mhm.
our children up in the correct way. We have lost that. And a lot of it is propaganda, a lot of it is the agenda, but it's our right as men and our duty as men to establish that back despite the agenda that's going against that type of infrastructure. And I want to show this queen who breaks that down real quick video.
Of black husbands were in their homes, married to the mother of their children, when they started the social engineering of the welfare state. Fast forward 50 years, 78% of black children are being raised in single-headed households. This is destruction personified.
All right. So it's just letting you know that how
Realize.
important it is for us to build back that structure because we were once in a great state and we got to get that back because we're regressing and it's starting to show. We're starting to lose a lot of our edge inside the school system. We're losing our edge inside the school system. They have these curriculums, and a lot of times these single households are ran by women, and not to show shade at women, but when it came to back in the days, these same constructs were going on, but we had men in the household that put their foot down. That's where the whole put their foot down comes from, was the man in the household didn't tolerate the bullshit. He put his foot
Mhm.
down on the
Right.
nonsense. We got to
Mhm.
start establishing that back and putting our foot down on the nonsense. Now, because we have single family homes that are ran by women, they're accepting the gender classification. They're accepting the curriculums of teaching our children stuff that they don't need to be teach or taught. They're accepting that racist. We apologize to racists and make sure that they feel comfortable around us at all times, or we should march and talk about holding hands and be peaceful. This is the type of mindset that comes in a single mother household because they're nurturers by nature. That's not something to clown them on, but by nature, if you're a nurturer, you just accept whatever is going on because you just want to be in a comforting position, in a comforting mindset. And that's what a nurturer gives you. When a leader and a discipliner comes in, he sees the bullshit. He doesn't coddle it. He doesn't tell you that we need to be in this state. He said we got to fix it because this state will have us going down the wrong way. And that's
Mhm.
why statistically, single fathers produce better children than single mothers. And they tell you that single mothers, I ain't gonna say majority, but a lot of the single mothers produce a lot of children that end up in the prison system.
Mhm.
This is statistical facts. This is not something I'm just raging about or raving
That
about.
is a
I'm
yes.
just telling you, this is statistical facts. So I'm only saying that's because we got to bring back our brotherhood. We got to bring back our fathers. We have to bring back our solidified unit of men in our community to fight for our community harder than we ever fought before because a lot of things are crumbling in the wrong direction. So I just want to leave you guys with that point before we get into the queen check of the day. You guys want to say some words on that before I get into queen check, or you want to go into queen check?
I think you're absolutely spot on with what you're saying, brother. I mean, it couldn't be any more spot on, actually. You know what I'm saying? I did see something in the comments I wasn't able to get to earlier. Maybe we bring it up next week because that it's kind of a lengthy conversation about the response to the brat and her pregnancy and so forth and so on. I posted about that this
Oh,
week, and it was a
yeah.
it was a shitstorm. Yeah,
Yeah,
but we don't have to
I didn't,
get that today,
I,
huh?
I know. I was gonna say I saw the comment, but
Yeah,
because of how they started it, I didn't want to post it visually. Um,
right.
so that's why I let you just read it instead of posting it. And I know you know that
Yeah,
person, and you could tell them why I did it like
yeah.
that. But
hmm
that's why I
I
didn't.
didn't even
I
see
didn't
it till
post it.
just now. You know what I'm saying? And shout out
Yeah,
to Brad Boss. We'll try to bring that back on another show. But man, tonight we just went off on so many tangents. We really didn't have a chance to get to that one. We didn't have a chance to get to the other thing with the Rihanna Out magazine cover either. Like it was, I said earlier, if we
yeah.
had time. But man, we start cooking
I ain't
and
got no drink. I ain't got no drink for that, man.
oh my
Gotta
god,
be Lamo. I need a full bottle and a half before I
bro.
can even.
So we bookmarked that one and try to get back to it on the board. Oh my god,
So
because you gotta slow cook those, man. We can't just
yeah.
pop in and pop out on those. You dig? So shout
Oh
out
got
yeah,
to
Brad Boss.
crock
definitely.
pot.
We'll get on it.
You can't air fry that. You gotta crock pot that. You gotta
You got a
leave it
crock
there
pot.
for the day.
You dig? So yeah. But shout out to him and everybody else in the comments, Lanisha, Lowell, everybody who's listening live. Shout out to y'all. We appreciate y'all. Monet, shout out to you. Quita be on here every week. You know what I mean?
And
So
shout out to those listening from recording as well too. We appreciate you digging in the archives and digging up some gems.
that's what's
Yes,
up.
Appreciate
We,
yes,
you.
we
yes.
do appreciate that. Shout out to
You
all of
already
y'all.
know. Hey, dog, this is what we represent. We come. I gotta tell people, we don't come with no BS. Like you gonna come here and you gonna get. If we give you 2 3 hours, you're gonna get 2 3 hours of gem. This ain't no chatterbox thing. Like Bobby said, we ain't no podcast dudes. We're coming in here with gems, things that's gonna change you for the better. We ain't coming in here coddling anybody, whether you're a man or woman. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna give it to you
We
blood
speaking
raw, and
life.
we're gonna give it to you where you're gonna be successful. And even if
Exactly.
your children, you could pass this on to them and make them successful, or the knowledge that you gain can make them successful. So that's what we bring here. You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
So we're definitely going to get into the queen check of the night. Definitely. Super dope episode that we identify and we acknowledge a dope sister that is doing something phenomenal in our community and even iconic for our community. And tonight,
Okay.
uh, she has done something super, super dope and very iconic. One of the most
Okay.
iconic pictures that you'll ever see on social media. And this is it right here. And this is
Mm,
Gloria Richardson Dandridge, right? She was born in May 6, 1922 to
Mm,
July 15, 2021. Sister passed away 2 years ago. She was
okay.
an
mm,
American civil rights activist, best known as a leader of the Cambridge movement, a civil rights action in the early 1960s in Cambridge, Maryland, on the Eastern Shore, recognized as a major figure in the civil rights movement. She was one of the signatories to the Treaty of Cambridge, signed in July 1963 with Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy and the state and local officials. It was an effort to reconsolidate and commitment to change after the riot the month below, I mean, before, right? So because they had we had so much complaints in our community. She was the one that was out there that controlled the crowd. So you talking about when you talk about somebody telling people to turn up and they turned up, she was
Uh,
that woman that told the community turn up. We gonna tear everything up if we don't get what we got. And that was basically she wasn't about that peaceful movement. She was about that action. She was about that life. That's why you see her
See it on
pushing
her
the assault
face.
rifle to the side. Yeah, she
Yeah.
wasn't playing that. She didn't play the radio. At the end of August 1963, March on Washington for jobs and freedom, Richardson and 5 other women were honored by being seated on the stage at the Lincoln Memorial, but none of the women were invited to speak to the crowd. To the next year, Richardson married again and moved to New York City, where she worked locally in Harlem on the civil rights and economic development. So we definitely want to give Gloria Richardson slash Miss Dandriff her flowers for being so iconic and having an iconic movement and an iconic picture. And even to this day, she has been recognized as one of the most powerful Black figures that we had in our community during a
Mm.
time, during the Jim Crow era, where everything was pretty much very violent. And to see that she was fighting back, using violence against violence, and overseed it, and got the attention of even the president, to get things signed into law so that way we could have additional protection during this tough time. So we definitely wanted to highlight her tonight for her super, super dope contribution to our community and society. So kudos to her.
Now to speak back to a point that you just made, phenomenal sister, phenomenal crown
Yeah.
check. That's what's up. Shout out to y'all queens out there. I hope she inspires y'all to want to be more like her, Sister Gloria. That's what it is right there. See, so to relate back to your prior point, imagine if instead of brothers embracing her and riding with her, and elevating her. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Imagine if brothers' attitude toward that sister was shut the fuck up.
exactly.
Just imagine. You understand where I'm coming from? You
Oh yeah.
know, brothers, broadly speaking, we got to get off this shit where we don't respect our women. We have loyalty and respect and dignity when we are involved with anybody else. We have undying loyalty to our barber, to our football team, to our homies. You understand? But when it comes to our women, shut the fuck up. Come on, bro. If it was like that, you really shouldn't even rock with her, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to gravitate to a woman that has a mind and a mental space, whereas there can be give and take. You might be wrong about something sometimes, and you might need her to respectfully challenge you. If
Yeah.
you're a real man about yours, you can accept that. You understand what I'm saying? And it don't have to be anything where you get into no fight or even a confrontation. Me and my woman disagree sometimes. Okay. We don't even raise our voices at each other when we speak. Period. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? We don't raise our voices. We don't curse when we speak at each other. No, we talk to each other because we're adults, and we're adults with the mental capacity to grasp complex concepts, and come up with ideas and thought processes that we can move on and build on as adults. You understand where I'm coming from? When you in that headspace and you've internalized a woman, with that same headspace, and she's internalized you. You all are together. You are moving as a unit. You're supposed to respect the things that each other say, feel, and think. Period. You understand what I'm saying? So it shouldn't even come to that. I know, yeah, sometimes women can get emotional, women can get annoying, whatever the case may be. And you can tell them that, quite frankly, that they need to slow it down and bring it in without telling them to shut the fuck up. And it's so void of any type of alpha male character to even approach a woman like that. There's nothing manly about that. It might make you feel manly in
Exactly.
the moment because you're being a bully to someone that you feel is less strong than you, but it makes you a punk at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Don't speak to sisters like that. Don't interact with sisters like that. And at the end of the day, choose a sister whose mental capacity is enough to the point where you don't want her to shut the fuck up, but you want her to speak, because her
Right.
speaking and the interaction between the two of you speaking, you're two great minds. This is the mental space I want y'all fellas to be in when you're talking to sisters. You're two great minds, right? And the back and forth between the two of you, the give and take, the fact that you're learning from each other should produce the best possible outcome. And that's what you need to be concerned with as a leader in your home, getting the best possible outcome. If the idea came from you or her, really should be immaterial if we keeping it a buck. So yeah, I don't want to hear no brothers out there, approaching females with that whole shut the fuck up type. Women who
Yes,
are
indeed.
women understand that sometimes they get a little crazy and they get a little frazzled and they may need to reel themselves in a bit when, especially, they have a masculine male figure there to make them feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Like they understand, okay, sometimes I just need to, I just need to be me and just kind of chill. I'm getting too much, whatever. I need to let him be the man and handle whatever XYZ. They know. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go at them like that. Challenge them like you challenging another dude. You know what I'm saying? That's something I say to coons. When I'm on these spaces and these coons start talking, I'll tell a coon to shut the fuck up. I'll tell a hood rat to shut the fuck up, but not someone whose intellect I value. We need to get off that shit entirely. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to respect each other, respect each other's thoughts, and try to internalize the wisdom that someone else is trying to speak to us, even when we disagree with them. That's why we have those two energies, and that's why those two energies are so important, the masculine and the feminine. That was all I had to say with regards to that. You got a powerful sister like that. What if Cass was telling her, shut the fuck up? You missed that great contribution to our culture. You understand what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly.
Just
Right.
saying.
Excellent point.
Just saying.
Excellent point.
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
Bobby?
Bob. You was saying something, but I was off on a tangent, man. You was gonna say something.
Oh no, I was saying I was saying that just the whole concept of getting to that point is just basic. Like you said, that's not even constructive.
It's
You just
not.
tell someone to be quiet. I mean, anybody can say that, but can you
Mm,
actually explain what it is that you have an issue with? Can you actually explain yourself,
right.
justify it, or what have you?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be generous. I'll go ahead and I'll try to go ahead and meet in the middle on it.
Right.
I'm not going to say that there are no women that should be told that. I'm not going to say that because there probably are. And if I'm honest, I've met a number of women who have definitely, probably, if any, warranted being told that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: if you meet a woman who, in your spirit, for whatever reason, whether it's because of the dialogue that y'all been having, or what you've seen her say or do, whatever, when you find someone and you find a sister who has reached the point, who's reached your line in the sand where she wants being told that,
Mm.
time to dismiss yourself. Go ahead and dismiss her or dismiss yourself and get about that. Because that right there is a sign that's not somebody that you should be dealing with or entertaining in the first place.
They're not on your level. They're not worthy.
And I'm not even saying don't even disagree with her, don't have argument, don't even get. I'm not even gonna say don't even get no back and forth with them. But if that's the best that you've got, if you pull out your pistol and that's the best bullet you got in your gun,
Come on now.
my man, that pea shooter, that thing lacking. Like
Tighten
them
up.
Looney Tunes guys where they hold the gun and the little muzzle just melts or just droops over. That's your situation. That's the best bullet you got.
Right.
You can't come at with some intellectual stuff or some cerebral stuff that's gonna have her scratching her head, wondering what he just said, or that's gonna have everyone else laughing at her and she doesn't even understand why she's the butt of the joke. If you can't even come with that, all you
Yo.
got is you already lost. You already lost.
Yo.
As what how's that saying go? Uh, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they get angry at you, then they try to fight you, and then you win. That's it right there. You already
Yeah.
lost.
That's it.
Hmm.
Real talk.
You should be as a man, and to be honest, and this is going to be a bit of a gut check because I know it doesn't apply to us. I know it doesn't apply to a lot. I'll be
Hmm.
honest.
Right.
But we're talking about making men better. We're not here to coddle you or to put a band-aid and some Neosporin on your boo-boo and give it a kissy and ask you if you feel better if you want an ice cold sody pop or a lollipop or an ice cream cone. We're not here to do that for you. We're
Right.
here to give you that swift kick in the ass and tell you man up
Right.
and
Yeah.
see you to that point. So I'm gonna tell you like this: if you're not there as a man, the next level in your evolution is you need to get to a point where you become a man that not just women but people respect as a whole. When you enter the room, the whole aura, the whole vibe should change. There
Real
should
talk.
be certain women, in most cases, who normally would get down like that, but because of your energy in their presence, they already know not to do it. I keep saying, oh, time
Yeah.
and time again, if you've spoken with me for about 30 minutes or more, we've had a conversation, especially about some of the weirdo stuff that be going on out here. You've
Hmm.
heard me say more than once, the devil knows exactly who to try.
Yeah.
There,
Real
there are
shit.
certain stories the devil know who to try, and I mean that. There are
Hmm.
certain stories and encounters that I've had people tell me about, and I'm like, I can't fathom that because I've never had that.
Right.
And that's not me bragging. It's not because I'm so great or so awesome. I like to think I am sometimes, but it's not
Yeah.
because I'm a dude. Because I like to think that I carry myself in such a way that my very attitude, my mindset, the way I look, my body language, my
Hmm.
facial features, what I'm about, how I'm carrying, conducting myself, that it doesn't give or doesn't enhance the environment to do that.
Right.
I've
Hmm.
had certain people that's known for being brolic. When I'm around, they don't come at me that way.
Real chill. Same thing with
And it's
me.
not because I'm kissing ass or because I'm saying everything they want to hear. In some cases, they disagree with me, and I might even see a sour look on their face.
Hmm.
But based on how I conduct myself, the respect I have, or whatever it is,
Right.
they just don't come at me with that. Now they'll come to the person after me with that, but
Hmm.
they don't come to
Hmm.
me that way.
Real talk.
And I have that happen to me enough times where when I do have someone that steps to me in that situation, I'm able to recognize, okay, this person either really doesn't understand who I am, or
Hmm.
they're so far gone out of their mind
Yeah.
that they can't read the room. So you know what? I'm going to do them a favor. I'm going to bow out. I'm not surrendering to them. I'm simply saving them from themselves.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not
I'm right there with
because
you.
they're on the path to self destruction. I'm not about to. I could. I'm not about to light that fuse for them. Get to a
Hmm.
point
Hmm.
where your manhood and your masculinity says everything without you saying a single word.
It
Get to
proceeds.
that point. That's the man that you want to be. That's
Yes.
the man you should strive to become.
Hmm.
Everyone is not going to get there, but I do believe anyone can get there. But you got to be intentional about that. And it starts with developing yourself to a point, at least, where you can not have to tell someone STFU, and that's all that
Right.
you're capable of doing.
Real talk. That's the reason why low key, you Anthony, you know this for a fact, and I'm sure
Yeah.
Bobby, that's why a lot of people, even when they'll say certain stuff on other people posts that they won't say on ours, and they will be saying what we say, and we'll be loud with it, and we'll go at them, and they won't. They're afraid to even at us on the internet because what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. You're likely to get embarrassed because we get down. We're not gonna come at you with shut the fuck up. You ain't shit hole. We don't
Mm.
talk like that. We don't behave like that. No,
You
we're
would
gonna
hope that's how we come because that's easy to deal with.
say it, and we
When we actually put that heat on your
yeah,
chest, you can't come at it that
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It's gonna go left quick, and they don't want to get embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm probably the biggest boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why people think I'm so horrible, but you know what I'm saying? I really don't try to embarrass nobody, but bruh, when you come at me
Yeah.
with the bullshit, it's going down. It's just at the end of the day, just make sense when you talk. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Make sense when you talk. Don't talk emotionally, man. Let some facts back up what you're saying and conduct yourself and comport yourself like an adult. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We gotta really start to normalize that because two people just go out here and talk stupid. And my issue is always that it's the next 10 people behind them that don't know no better, they reading this shit and they believe it. Nah, bro. You know what I'm saying? I gotta tighten this up, so that everybody, I gotta call out ignorance when I see it. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, to speak to Bobby's point, yeah, when people, never mind seeing you in an actual room, and I know people who see me in a room that was scared to come and speak, but I mean, I don't carry myself like, oh, I'm a bust you up, and I don't carry myself like that. You know what I'm saying? But just the realness. I guess we live in a world that's so damn fake. When you speaking, some real talk, and you unapologetic about what it is that you stand for and what it is that you understand. People ain't ready for that, man. People, they like to make up shit and have their head up their ass and all this. Man, we don't do that here. Listen, we gon'
Can I be honest with you?
help
Can
you
I be
out.
honest with you about something?
Go for it, man.
I'm gonna sit this in your lap, man. I'm gonna sit this in your lap.
Okay.
And again, this ain't a clout thing. This ain't no bragging type thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
across genders, racial lines, and social status, all the different differences that you could think of that exist between people.
Yeah.
A lot of people do not know how to handle a man, but in particular, a black man that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't skin and grin with you. A
That's
dude
real.
that a Negro that doesn't have a perpetual chuckle on their face.
Right. Right.
Right. Where you can see and count all their teeth. You can see just how good or how poor a job that dentist has done over the lifespan. When you can't see
Yeah.
all their gums and mouth and smiling and grinning,
A lot of
they
people
don't
can't
know
do
how to do that. That's
for real.
intimidating because you can't go and slide all kind of nonsense in front of them. They're not
Mm-hmm.
going to be with the BS. You gonna crack a stupid joke or say something inappropriate. They're not gonna laugh to make you feel good. They're gonna look at you like
Right.
you crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
you got to. A lot of people are uncomfortable with that.
And that's
They
good.
don't. They
They
respect
should be.
it, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. They don't know how to move with that because they know they
Right.
can't go and. This is somebody that's not affected because they try to program us and get us to be that, to be the
Mm-hmm.
safe, the jolly, unintimidating, the aloof, you know,
Right. The happy
nonchalant,
Negro, the happy slave.
he has no standards. He has no principles. You can say and do anything around him, and he's just going to basically shrink into himself. And they
Right.
especially like to do it to the strong ones. They like to buck break and make him a weakling where he got
Exactly.
all the
Bill
size and
O'Neal.
strength for days, and God bless him, he can't do nothing with it. They like that when you tuck in yourself. So
Shout
when
out
you a
Charles
black
Brown.
man,
Mhm.
clearly, it's another story. But
Don't get me
clearly,
started. Shout out
I'm
Charles
not talking
Barkley and
about.
Shaquille O'Neal.
No, no,
Y'all
no,
gonna
no.
y'all gonna have
But
us here for hours.
that's
Mm.
terrible. Major Gage, that's terrible. But they're uncomfortable with that because they don't know what to do. They know they can't run nonsense with you, so it
Right.
caused their whole way of operating into being. So
Mm.
that's why you see a lot of that because they're like, well, maybe he's mean. No, I'm not mean. I'm just not with the BS. If
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, I'll laugh at jokes if they're funny. I'll talk with you. I'll chat it up with you. I'll give you a positive, encouraging word. I'll tell you tighten up. I'll put some pep in your step if necessary. I'm a human being, but you can't come to me with nonsense. You can't come sit bullshit in my lap and have me pretend it's a pet rock. It's not gonna happen.
Real talk.
Exactly.
It's just
Real
not.
talk.
So
Real
if
talk.
that's what you want, then you're gonna have a problem. But if you are some real down to earth stuff, then you know anyone who's on about that, you're gonna get along just fine with them. You just
Yeah.
gotta come at them different than you used to come, and that's what it is.
We love everybody.
Yeah, we love everybody. And hopefully
Uh,
everybody and their mama in the world gonna love us in a minute.
you
Cause
already
we
know.
dropping great stuff. Remember, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll definitely be here next week. We appreciate everybody for tuning in because we
Yeah.
understand that it ain't
Like,
easy. It ain't
notify.
easy. Yeah, it ain't easy to sit on and watch 3 hours
Yeah.
religiously with us every night,
We
but it
appreciate
lets
y'all
us
so
know
much.
that we got great content because
Yeah.
normally people fall off around the 15-20 minute mark because we live in a
Mhm.
microwave era. So
You
we
don't take it for
appreciate
granted.
everybody, man.
Appreciate
The
it.
feedback is just crazy.
Yes.
But I will be
Yes.
chopping up a lot of the content up into smaller segments to go out there and basically use as clickbait. so people can know that this platform is super dope. And you guys are gonna love it. We'll be here next week, chopping up some good topic. Don't know what we're gonna have for you, but keep in tune because it's always gonna be something great. And
You know it.
man,
Gonna be
we love
live.
y'all, man. We appreciate y'all and keep continuing
We
with the
do.
support and love. And we will have different things coming soon for you guys, so that way you guys don't be lonely at your house. There will be merch and different things that you can purchase so that the manifestations can be in your household as well as you guys listen to us online.
There you
With
go.
that being said, y'all want to say y'all final piece? Good to go?
And I think I said enough, boy. Goddamn. Stop talking tonight, man. Listen, man. Like,
Point is that,
comment, subscribe, and share. Like, comment,
Yes.
subscribe, and share. That's what it is. Tell a friend and tell a friend. We want to see all of y'all back here with some more people next week. But we're gonna chop up some more good game. We're gonna get it in. We ain't playing out here, and just let everybody know, man. At the end of the day, all we got is us. Sisters, we
Exactly.
love you. We need you. Brothers, the sisters, the well-meaning sisters, and even the sisters that are not so well-meaning, they love you. They know that they need you. So let's fix
Exactly.
that rift between the two of us. You know what I'm saying? And let's get these healthy relationships going and get in the process of nation building. That's what it's about at the end of the day. And I'll land my plane there.
Sure.
Be one.
All right, y'all be easy, be safe. We up out of here. Peace be the journey.
All right.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. But you can see from the title, it's more of a love album.